Oh, fuck. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. Please like and subscribe today. YouTube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks 1, home of Braves Country Baseball, Tuesday and Friday nights, along with pop-up shows, and the Armchair Quarterbacks Show, which airs live Saturday mornings. YouTube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks 1. Hey, football fans, the Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
It's important to remember the value of taking time for ourselves to do the things that help us grow and explore, like learning something new. And now with the Great Courses Plus, it's never been easier to experience the joys of learning. The Great Courses Plus offers thousands of streaming videos that cover hundreds of fascinating topics, from World War II to choosing the perfect wine. You can even take a course on the U.S. government or dealing with stress and anxiety. And because the Great Courses Plus partners with world-class professors and experts, you're always receiving thoroughly vetted, high-quality content from every lecture. Plus, you can watch or listen anytime, anywhere with the Great Courses Plus app. So take a little time for you. Sign up for the Great Courses Plus today for a free month of unlimited access. Visit thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio to get started. That's thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio.
I think my jersey was one of the top selling jerseys around the world. It was like Kobe, LeBron, and then I was right behind them, and I didn't make a dollar from it, but nor did I want to, because I knew going into college what it was all about. I knew going to my dream school, where I wanted to go, the passion for it. And if I could support my team, support my college, support my university, that's what it's all about. But now we're changing it from us, from we, from my university, from being an alumni where I care, which makes college football and college sports special, to then, okay, it's not about us, it's not about we, it's just about me. And yes, I know we live in a selfish culture where it's all about us, but we're just adding and piling it onto that, where it changes what's special about college football. We turn it into the NFL, where who has the most money, that's where you go. That's why people are more passionate about college sports than they are about NFL. That's why the stadiums are bigger in college than they are in the NFL, because it's about your team, it's about your university, it's about where my family wanted to go. And you're taking that away so that young kids can earn $1. And that's just not where I feel like college football needs to go.
Armchair.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always, after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Lager, the beer that brought the forest down.
I drive an exotic imported sports car. I eat exotic foreign food like frankfurters and pizza. But when it comes to numbing my mind, I'm a patriot. I drink the beer that brought the forest down. I'm a lager man. And with the new 80-bottle trunk pack, you've got enough for the evening. Hey, it's happy hour somewhere.
Lager brings out the patriot in you.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. You're listening to Braves Country Baseball. Please like and subscribe today. YouTube.com, Armchair Quarterbacks 1. Hey, football fans. The Armchair Quarterback Show is back. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. And we'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Make contact. A collective psychosis is sweeping the nation. We're in the thick of the haze craze, and Elysian is introducing an altered state of IPA. Contact Haze is a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. This hazy IPA bursts with notes of bright raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, and passion fruit. Available in 6-pack cans in stores and at all Seattle Elysian locations. Make contact.
Saturday mornings, the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition like no other. We dive into the Southeastern Conference and the Southern teams in the National Football League. We talk the betting lines, fantasy football. So join us Saturday mornings and get your football weekend started right with the Armchair Quarterbacks, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, right here on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
I might audible. If I audible, I'll use Omaha! Omaha! Red Polly! Red Polly! Blue Poncho! Blue Poncho! Dilly! Rambo! Rambo! Give me Kershaw here, Kershaw!
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Stop, Japan! Richmond, New York! Richmond, Florida! Sally, Buffalo! Check! Hey, Short Ox! Luda Raiders! Red Lion! Omaha! Time out!
This portion of the show is being brought to you by The Best Things in Life, which are still free with minimum purchase at participating dealers.
Dread running to the post office? Stamps.com brings post office and UPS services right to your computer. Send letters, ship packages, and get up to 40% off USPS and up to 62% off UPS rates. Nearly 1 million small businesses use Stamps.com to save time and money. It's a no-brainer. So skip the post office and visit Stamps.com.
Hi, this is Britney Spears.
What up, this Jay-Z.
This is Jennifer Lopez. Armchair.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves Country Baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. Armchair Quarterback Radio, the gunslingers of sports talk.
And here's second-year quarterback Brett Favre out of Southern Mississippi by way of the Atlanta Falcons. They are hopeful he can succeed in the NFL. Here, Brett Favre, you want a challenge? Try this one. So with their best receiver out of the game from the 35, 19 seconds left. Ball pumps, throws, touchdown! Is there a spark of life in Green Bay? Touchdown! Yes!
Danny Marino!
Here's Marino, wide open field, throws for a touchdown. It is number 37 on the season, breaks the all-time NFL record. Going deep and open. Touchdown, Mark Duper. Duper has returned, and he is super.
They are going to bring pressure again. Rodgers is going to roll away, throws it up in the air, says a prayer. Janice does not stop it! Oh, please!
It's the 21st century, and there are just so many fun and exciting ways to lose your money. So many ways to make your life even more interesting with crippling financial burdens. Why not one more way? New in Canada, it's Solitaire, MMORPG. Play with yourself, online. See other people playing with themselves, online. Poverty Poker Online, now offering Solitaire. A new way to lose all your money, even your home, from the comfort of your own home.
TGIF on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Justin Waller and Mac McGee are back at it 6 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern every Friday evening right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel and your local CBS Sports affiliates. We're talking the NFL, Major League Baseball, Southern football, so grab you a cold one. It's finally Friday on the Armchair Quarterbacks, 6 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern. Waller and McGee getting you ready for your sports weekend.
You're listening to CBS Sports Radio. We are all sports 24 hours a day.
Do you have any idea how important it is? Really? This is what you're doing? You know what's going to happen?
Hyperbole is done. Now we can finally play the game. We are live in Tallahassee, the capital of the great state of Florida. And Desmond Howard going in motion on 2nd down and 5 for Michigan, playing on real grass at Michigan Stadium. Short to the sideline, and it's intercepted. Florida State was sitting and waiting for
Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to lead all the way back. He's going to win the football game.
Down to the 20, but the bands are out on the field. There were flags all over. amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football.
In trouble in the backfield, wants to throw now, and he's going to go deep. And I mean deep, and I mean touchdown, Florida! Miracle finish. A Hail Mary that's full of grace for the Gators.
Barkley trying to bounce it. And does escape. Saquon Barkley in the clear. Save. So 79 yards.
It's a 31-30 game, and what are they doing? Do? I have not seen the kicker come on the field, and I don't think he's coming on the field. Tom Osborne made this decision a long time ago. He's decided to go for two and take a shot at winning. I commend him for it.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska.
The Seminoles of Florida State. It's a battle for flagging rights and recruiting advantages in the state of Florida as the Gators come calling. And Chief Osceola ready to get it started. Tallahassee, city flush, throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it. Today, we've got number 1 Seminoles against number 2 Hurricanes.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Show. Doug, how are you, sir?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Give me 1 second. I need to close my drapes. I always forget that the sun comes in and blinds everybody over there behind me. Oh, did you watch any baseball last night?
What? Okay. No, I was working on trade deadline. Hello?
You don't remember if you watched baseball last night?
No, I
do you for a
had to work late. I didn't get. Oh no, I just had to work late, and with all the news late, I was paying attention to the trade deadline stuff that happened late last night.
Yeah, your boys got rid of their big piece, their biggest piece, Luis Castillo last night. What did you think about the haul that they got? They got two of the Mariners' top pitching prospects.
I like it. It makes sense. I'm intrigued with Arroyo, and so yeah. No, it made sense. I knew that was coming. I mean, the Reds are just going to grab every prospect they can in this trade deadline, so I'm not surprised at all. And it makes sense. It makes sense for both teams.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually had that one right. I was on a show earlier this week, and we were debating where big pieces were going, and that's where I had Seattle grabbing Castillo, and there was a big debate that morning. We were going back and forth. Would he go to Seattle, or would he go to the Yankees? And I kept saying, I don't know if he's willing to cut his hair, man. Assuming that hair is real, because, nowadays.
Yeah.
The guys.
Well, the Yankees were real close. That was like a last. That was a.
They weren't even in the neighborhood. They weren't even in the neighborhood because the Reds wanted Anthony Volpe, and Volpe, according to the Yankees, is not going to be involved in any trade. And so Cincinnati immediately turned their phones off to the Yankees, and that's when they started banging out the deal for the Reds. I also like the move for the Reds for another reason. You go and you get Seattle's top prospects, right? Out the gate, out the jump. We still have 3 days left in the trading deadline, but what you did there was you took two of the best prospects that are out there, and you have them now, and they can't be used to go grab somebody else and bolster another roster. So I like what Seattle did. I like the idea. Trade your guy before he gets hurt, right? Trade him, get rid of him. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm excited to see what Castillo can do out in Seattle. I think he's going to be a big bolster. You still have Montas, Perez, Pablo Lopez, and Syndergaard. I'd be interested to see if Miami actually moves Pablo Lopez, but Syndergaard is definitely going. Perez and Montas, I believe, are definitely going. And the A's have been showcasing him. They've actually let him pitch about 50 pitches last time out because they wanted to make sure that he's not going to get hurt again.
Yep.
I told you to give me some best guesses here at the trading deadline. Who do you have going and where?
Okay, this is kind of an intriguing one. People aren't really, I think it's kind of under the radar, but I thought it was kind of interesting, was the Houston Astros. They need help at first base. They need help. They need a center fielder. And a lot of people feel they need a catcher, even though I don't think they need a catcher because that team, the pitchers, the organization like Maladano, just for his behind the plate calling. So I got the Astros in a trade picking up Brian Reynolds at center field. I think that's something you look for. They need to replace Gurriel. Gurriel is showing his age. And I could see a possible trade for Josh Bell as well.
That's an intriguing one, Josh Bell. So you think the Astros are gonna get both of them?
No, I'm just saying my best guess is one of the two of them, with me leaning on the fact that I think they'll pick up Brian Reynolds.
Okay. So where do you have Bell going?
Bell, Bell. That's an intriguing one too. I could have Josh Bell going to well, there's still it's like I said, it's a rumor mill right now, but Josh Bell, I could see Josh Bell going to I gotta look at my notes, sorry. I could see Josh Bell ending up with the Padres if they don't pick up Wilson Contreras, which I think is more than likely. Because people aren't with Wilson Contreras, people aren't looking at the relationship that they have that both organizations have. I mean, they've done many deals, especially over the last couple of years. So if Contreras doesn't go to the Padres, I think Josh Bell can end up with the Padres.
I've got this bad feeling that Wilson Contreras is heading to the Mets. Sucks. I really have that feeling that we're going to end up with the with dealing with Wilson Contreras going to the Mets. And I don't.
My only question with that. Oh
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would hate that just for the fact that they're the Mets, but also, are they willing to pay that much for a rental? Because basically, that's all you're going to get from them is a rental. I don't see them signing a long-term deal for him. He'll play out this year, and then it doesn't make sense in a long-term thing for the Mets. I mean, short-term it does, obviously, because you're getting a quality hitting catcher, which they really do need a catcher, and you're getting a guy that can play the DH position, which they need as well. I just thinking pay all that money just again for a rental.
Well, yeah. I mean, aren't you going for it if you're the Mets?
True. No, it's a valid point.
I mean, if you're not, then what are we talking about here? Then why even make a move?
Well, that's why I had thought with. Oh, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, I just thought with Wilson Contreras. The Padres are making a move themselves, and there's longer term money in it for the Padres or for Contreras. So it make more sense to go to the Padres, and just like I said, the relationship between the Cubs and the Padres.
Well, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, right? So I don't know if it realistically matters. Where they actually go. Because it's not like any of these guys are going to sign deals before they get to the to their destinations. This isn't like some of these NBA deals where it's a sign and trade and whatnot. These guys are being traded and they'll figure it out in the off season. So, and the reason why I say the Mets is the Mets need something in their lineup. They've got to get their lineup fit. I still think that their lineup has a lot of holes in it, no matter what is being portrayed. And with that being said, I also believe that a right-handed bat, they just added the left-handed bat in Naquin, a right-handed bat, a power bat that they could put right in the middle of their lineup, and they can have him catch on days where they are not going to have him catch. You could have him DH because he's that good of a hitter. And you could have, and you could still put other guys behind the plate to give him a break and give him days off. But that one has made sense to me for a long time this year. And I'm a little surprised that the Mets are kind of playing deadline chicken, because I feel like that the closer we get, someone else, and look, the Padres are a good fit as well. I'm just a little surprised that you don't see the Braves go more, the Mets go more all in quicker, right? That's my only, I don't know. I just feel like that they are going to make a splash. They haven't made a splash yet. Look, the Rowdy Tellez addition is nice addition. Tyler Naquin is a platoon player. It's a nice addition, but it's nothing ground shaking. The Mets are going to make one big move, I believe, if not two, but at least one big move that you're going to be able to hang your hat on and say, hey, let's go ahead and make a run and see where we can go from here. What do you have? Give me a couple other big moves that you got predicted for today.
Juan Soto. We'll talk about the big elephant in the room.
Yeah, where do you have him going?
I got him going to the Cardinals.
Yeah,
it makes sense from
I do too. That's exactly where I have him going.
Because it makes a sense on so many levels for the Cardinals, especially for the Cardinals. I know they need pitching, but if they were going to take care of their pitching, they would have done that in wintertime, and they haven't, so they're not going to. So it's logical from a couple points of view. Of course, you get Juan Soto. Right. I believe Goldschmidt, his contract is up, I think, next year. I think his contract is next year. So you'll have the money, because I think they'll move on from Goldschmidt. You'll have the money, and you can sign, and they'll most likely be able to sign Juan Soto long term. So to me, it's a great fit. They have the trade. They have the stuff for this trade.
Goldschmidt,
and I think it's somebody they'll sign in a long time, and he'll be an impact player with Cardinals for a long time.
Paul Goldschmidt is under contract until the end of the 2024 season, not the 2023 season. So he still has 2.5 years left. But Soto has 2.5 years left. So Soto's brand new deal would actually start in 2025 unless they rip up what he's got right now. So, I mean, they could make it work. Look, Goldschmidt's only making 22 the next 2 years. So that's not the wrong possibility. The Cardinals can afford. The Cardinals have one of the better television deals in Major League Baseball because they own the Midwest. If you live in the Midwest, you're pretty much a Cubs or a Cardinals fan. And no offense for Reds fans, but it is what it is.
Oh, I know. I know.
But yeah, I agree. And the thing is, man, that gives you a left-handed power bat. And they've got some outfielders that they could send to the Nationals as well. That's one of the more intriguing moves that you got any other big ones before we talk fantasy football?
All I was going to throw out there, being a Braves fan, don't be surprised, and I think it's just a chess move. Let the Braves sign JD Martinez, because I know the Mets are eyeing them if for some reason they don't get what they want. Because you've got Adam Duvall with an injury, you go get JD Martinez to take that spot, and you do it as a chess just to keep him away from potentially being with the Mets. I thought that was just something for Braves fans to think about.
I would love the JD Martinez move, assuming they don't want the moon and the stars, which, they shouldn't be asking for that. JD Martinez has had a good year, but it's not like some of the years that he's had in the past. What I like about JD Martinez, he's a right-handed power bat. And what is he batting this year? This year he is batting 289, 818 OPS. So nothing to sneeze at. He's not going to bring the kind of rake that he normally would bring in because his power numbers have dropped quite a bit. He's only got 9 home runs on the year.
Mm-hmm.
So as analytically driven as they are, I wonder if there might be some pause on that. You look at the other previous years, especially the ones that he spent in Boston, 43, 36, and 28 home runs. I'm throwing the 2020 season out the door because you have to. That's an interesting move, and I don't think it would cost them a whole hell of a lot. And they could set up, I'm not going to say a true platoon system, but you could have a bit of a platoon system there with Rosario. I really think what it would come down to is Rosario and Ozuna would be doing more platoon, whereas JD would probably be the more constant in the lineup, and Rosario and Ozuna would turn into more of a. I'm watching it at the deadline. I've got Ozuna in a few leagues, and I'm about to drop him. I just haven't decided what I want to drop him for. His production is down. He's not worth having fantasy baseball wise. He's just a hole in my lineup. The only reason why he has made it this long is because he's a Brave. That is it.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm a bit of a homer when it comes to that. And I will take some of my lumps with some of my Braves players because look, I watch a lot of Braves. I watch every Braves game. I pull for my fantasy team as I'm pulling for my Braves. It's a lot easier if I can compile them into the same thing. So I normally have a few of their stars. Now I've gotten better over the years, moving some around to where I don't have every single player in the lineup. Thankfully, Salvador Perez came back last night, so I can finally get rid of Travis d'Arnaud, who's abysmal. That was one of those things where I there's nothing I could do. I didn't want to carry two catchers anymore, where I'm platooning the two in my lineup between d'Arnaud and Contreras, which works out okay points wise, not great. But man, you got to carry 2 damn catchers. And when I first picked up Contreras, the thought process was that Contreras was going to play some left field and DH and whatnot. And it really hasn't been the case. And, he's done it a little bit, but not enough. So I do like that move. Let's get to fantasy football running backs. Give me your top 10 real quick.
Real quick, my top 10, Jonathan Taylor.
No brainer there, right?
Yeah, I couldn't get around that. Christian McCaffrey. I know he's had a lot of injuries, but I still think he's still number 2. Austin Eckler moves up this year. I think he's going to have a phenomenal season. Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Najee Harris. I know you're gonna hate me for saying this, but Joe Mixon, I still put him in the top 10. Jonathan Swift and Nick Chubb and Aaron Jones.
I'm going to kill you for who? For having the top 10?
Every year we talk about running backs, and a lot of people put Joe Mixon in the top 10, and I did this year.
Yeah, I actually like Mixon higher this year than in previous years. The reason why I always steered clear of Mixon in years past, and I didn't steer clear of him last year, because remember last year it was the first year that I said this is the first time ever that I can stand on the table and say draft Joe Mixon, because he was going way too early in drafts prior. Last year he dropped down to second and third tier, and I was like, now he's a steal. Now you grab him. Now he's getting a little more love because his team went to the Super Bowl, but I think his love is warranted now because he's on a good team. He was on some bad teams in Cincinnati, and I don't like having a running back on teams that suck because they don't get the ball because they're constantly passing, right? but mixing in a PPR format, I've got him in my top 10. I'll talk about mine later. Now that's where it gets interesting. Give me your 11 through 15.
And it gets a little murky. After that, Alvin Kamara. I can't believe I'm putting him outside the top 10, but I've got Kamara. Then I've got let me see, David Montgomery, Connor from Arizona, and Javonte Wilson.
Can I put Javonte Williams instead of Wilson on there?
Yeah, please.
You must not feel too good about it if you don't even know his damn name. Javonte Williams, I think we're being sold a bill of goods by these fantasy football experts, air quotes, because they keep telling you, and look, we've heard this all last year. He's the better running back. He's going to get the carries. I'm not going to draft someone really high because I think I know what's going on in the head of the new coaching staff. He's still going to split a lot of time with Melvin Gordon. And I don't want a guy who's going to split a lot, unless I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to draft him, we'll say in the third round, and bam, I'm going to get my handcuff pretty quickly after that, right? Because now in a best ball format, I got him much higher because you don't have to predict what weeks he's going to go off. But in a full season format, that's where it gets tricky. Have you cleared your calendar for September 3rd when we're going to have the big hoot nanny over here with the draft?
Yes, I have. Believe it or not, yes, I have. I'm not going to work that day. I'm not doing anything that day.
That should be a lot of fun. Some of our viewers, if they're interested, some of the ones that we're friends with, haven't gotten in contact with all of them, but if they decide they want to come up, let me know. It's going to be Saturday, September 3rd. And what we're going to do is, first of all, we're starting the morning off, which is the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're starting that morning off with our Trophy League draft, which, Doug, you won last year, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to do that draft live here. That's always a lot of fun when we do the live draft. We'll put the draft on the screen. All of us will be in there. We'll just be, talking a lot of smack back and forth. Then I haven't set them all up, but most of our drafts are taking place that day. And then we're going to finish it off that evening with the live and in-person draft. I think we're going to get everything going over here like around 2:30-ish, something like that. And it's going to be draft. And, we'll have good chubs and, be drinking good suds and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. My wife asked me what I wanted for my birthday this year. And I said, I had to be left alone on fantasy football days. That's pretty much it, man. I just want to hang out with my boys. Birthday's actually like a week later, but I'm claiming that because I won't ever get a real birthday ever again. Our dog, we found out, was born the day after my birthday, so that has gone to hell in a handbasket. My wife's already planning on like a doggy birthday. I was like, God bless, it's over. But yeah, I am looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun to be able to. I really like the old school draft, and I'm looking forward to doing that again. Now, you weren't with us last year because we did it out of town, but I think you're really going to enjoy the old school draft. We go out, we get the stickers and put it up, and you go put your player on the board. And anyways, a lot of fun. All right. It is about that time. What is your walk-off for the day, sir?
My walk-off today, we were talking earlier about Juan Soto. I was thinking in the back of my head, what if they don't? There is all the potential that Juan Soto stays a national at least until the offseason.
He could just hold him. Look, if they don't get their asking price, why are they in such a rush to move him, right? Because you got Juan Soto. Essentially, he's got 2 more years after this year. Now, a lot of the other guys we talked about, you want to move them because they're either a free agent at the end of this year, or there's a couple where they got 1 year left and you're going to get more value right now. But if someone backs the truck up because they know they can get Juan Soto for three postseason pushes, that's a little different. But here's the thing. If you're going to sign Juan Soto, you have more plans for him anyways than just 3 seasons. So it is a fair point. I'm not 100% convinced Soto is going to move because of those factors. They may go, you know what, we're going to hold off. Maybe a team like Boston, who doesn't have a real shot at it this year, maybe they'll get involved in it. Maybe the Yankees get involved in it in the offseason when they go, we can't re-sign Judge, whatever. All right, brother, we will see you next Saturday, and that's one Saturday closer to football season. Have a good one. We're going to be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks when we come back. Joey and Tones join us, and we're going to be talking the NFC East.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Ed's Almost Good Beer. Remember, Ed's Almost Good Beer was brewed in God's country when God wasn't looking.
Hey, football fans, the Armchair Quarterback Show is back Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Hey, Jacksonville, winter is the perfect time to start planning for your healthy, pest-free spring lawn with True Green, America's #1 lawn care company. True Green's science-based approach and local expertise will help give your lawn the year-round care it needs to be thick and weed-free. Go to truegreen.com/radio to save 50% on your first service. Just call 866-946-5956 or go to truegreen.com/radio today and get a lawn to be proud of.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
Lager, the beer that brought the forest down. I drive an exotic imported sports car. I eat exotic foreign food like frankfurters and pizza. But when it comes to numbing my mind, I'm a patriot. I drink the beer that brought the forest down. I'm a lager man. And with the new 80-bottle Trump pack, you've got enough for the evening. Hey, it's happy hour somewhere.
Lager brings out the patriot in you.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land. And doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit. And everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
Kinda stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do I work hard or live at my pace? You're only young one, living life is doing lots of cocaine. Wait, no, it's living with no shame. Wait, no, it's sleeping in on Sundays. Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need is a better day.
Welcome back here to the Armchair Quarterbacks, and joining us is Joey and Tones Areola. How are you, Tones?
I'm doing great, my brother. It's 1 week closer to football season, a couple days away from the MLB trade deadline. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. It's a great time to be alive if you're a sports fan, is returning the corner into the exciting fall where everything's going on. I can't wait. We got a lot to talk about today. And yeah, we got Joey on as well. So cool to talk sports with you gentlemen.
Joey, what's cracking?
Nothing much. Just moving into my new home right now. But once that's done with it, thank you very much. Once that's done with tomorrow, I'll be a lot happier. But let's talk some sports in the meantime.
Hopefully you get something hung on your wall.
Oh, believe me, there's a lot of, it won't be white walls next weekend, I promise.
You want me to mail some of this crap to you?
No, I don't want to mess up that good mojo you got.
God,
But believe me,
I can't even get on the damn screen.
Next week I'll have something decent, I promise.
All right, fair enough. If I find something of your boys, I'll see if I can't send it to you. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into it quickly. We've got the MLB trade deadline. It is right around the corner. For folks that are unfamiliar with it, it's not the 31st like it has traditionally been. It is August 2nd this year, which is Tuesday. It'll actually be at 6 p.m. Eastern. It used to be 4 p.m. Eastern. I think they're doing that for television, but it's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern, which I honestly feel like that's a smart move. I've always thought it was odd it was 4 p.m. Eastern, but 6 p.m. Eastern, that usually is before most of the games will get going. And why have they moved it to the 2nd from the 31st? Because they didn't want the trade deadline to fall on a Sunday. And you have a lot more people more likely to watch any kind of trade deadline special Tuesday evening than they would on a Sunday afternoon, which is where traditionally it would be going down tomorrow, 4 p.m., and away you go. I don't have an opinion one way or the other about it. I get why they're doing it, so I understand that part. I would have watched it regardless, so they're not really going towards a fan like me. They're looking at the casual fan. And so, look, I get it, and I don't think it's that big a deal. If your guy gets hurt before August 2nd, you didn't want him on your team anyways. Okay, so let's get into it. First one up on the docket. Who are the Padres getting? Tone, start with you.
Yeah, I'm actually swinging for the fences here. I think that they're the leader in the Juan Soto sweepstakes right now, and they've held no punches back in the past couple decades at making huge moves. Manny Machado, they've gave guys like Eric Hosmer big money back in the day. They try to rebuild with Uptons, Heath Bells of the world, Craig Kimbrells and whatnot. So they are notorious for swinging for the fences. But not only that, they have the prospects to do so. They have 3 top 89 rated prospects according to MLB.com right now, and they have a former top 10 prospect who just lost prospect status in shortstop CJ Abrams. So if you package those 4 in a package together along with some other young guys as well, or some guys on the major league depth chart as we see, you could get a nice little 5 to 7 player package going. So I think the Padres landing for Hassel III, who's a 22nd ranked prospect outfielder in their system, Luis Campusano, who's a 53rd ranked prospect in according to MLB.com, he's a catcher. And then Jawan James, 89 ranked prospect. And then CJ Abrams, a former top 10 ranked prospect. And then they'll throw in a guy like Trent Grisham, who's still a little young and major league ready as well. So I think that package may excite a team like the Washington Nationals, and the Padres need a guy like Juan Soto if they want to compete with the likes of the Braves, the Mets, and the Dodgers after all. So I see the Padres going all in for him.
Joey, what say you?
You know, I'm going to go in the same. I do think they need an outfielder. Going back to when you guys were talking earlier, I'm not sure exactly yet if someone's going to pull that trigger on Juan Soto. Maybe they wait till the offseason where more teams can get involved. So if they can't get a guy like him, which would obviously be the top clear-cut move, I'm going to stick in my hometown. What about a guy like Ian Happ? You know, the Padres outfield is banged up. He's a versatile guy. He's had a pretty good season. He made the All-Star game, hitting 284. 9 homers, 46 RBIs. He's a good guy where you could, like I said, you could play him in any outfield position, even a little bit of infield if you need. And if Juan Soto ain't available, one of the next best outfielder options could be that. And the Cubs need to rebolster that farm system more, which doesn't have a lot of top prospects in it. And as Tones alluded to, if they have some of the top guys, why not make that move? Send Ian Happ to San Diego, get some top prospects back, hopefully, even if it's just one, and go on from there. I like the idea of the outfield, though, because the Padres, little injury riddled and not as much talent there as the infield, in my opinion. So I'm going to go Ian Happ.
Ian Happ, I actually like his. I think there's a very good chance that the Atlanta Braves end up with Ian Happ.
Oh, wow.
Or David Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
That would look, the Braves and Cubs have made a lot of trades over the years, and that would kind of identify a lot of needs. They need a guy who can play a little second base till Ozzie comes back, but can play outfield and can hit from the right side of the plate. They also need a reliever. Man, that game last night, there's no reason why the Braves should be sweating out every single night. When they get to the 7th, 8th, 9th inning, it has become ridiculous. Even with Kenley Jansen in the mix. Last night, he walked the bases loaded. They were leading by 3. He gave up a triple with 1 out, and then ends up striking out two guys, but walking 2 guys. So he walked the bases loaded. And if it weren't for the fact that they had lowly Luplo at the damn plate, that game could have turned out nasty. I'm not convinced that Kenley Jansen is a shutdown closer anymore. I know his pride may not want him to understand that. Will Smith is definitely not. Will Smith's doing the same crap he did last year, and he's not showing signs of turning it around. Like right around this time last year, he was starting to turn around. He looks like he's gotten worse. I do still believe Minter is a good reliever. I do still believe that Colin McHugh is a very good reliever. Dylan Lee's been phenomenal. He's really been a godsend out of the Braves bullpen. And the Braves need to make a move. If it's not David Robertson, it's got to be Daniel Bard. Next one up on the docket. Let's go to the Mets. Tones, where do you got the Mets going?
Yeah, I was I wrote this down before the Armchair Quarterback show even kicked off on the air today, and then I heard you allude to that they could use a catcher in the middle of the lineup, and I think that's a perfect fit with the Cubs. I got Wilson Contreras and a package. If he doesn't end up with your Braves, I got Robertson and Wilson Contreras in a package deal to the Mets. They have a lot of top prospects. The number 1 prospect in all of baseball is now a catcher on the Mets. They have other guys like Ronnie Aricio, the shortstop. They just have a lot of prospects they could move, they could trade. They always talking about moving a young bat like JD Davis, Dominic Smith. They don't really have room for him. He's still a young, intriguing option. So the Mets have trade chips. It just depends who their partner might be. And I think the Cubs, I mean, like you said, the Mets still have some clear holes in their lineup, particularly after the cleanup 5 spot. It really goes down the drain. Wilson Contreras would be a perfect 5 or 6 hitter in their lineup, in my opinion. And then a guy like Robertson could help them solidify late games, because outside of Edwin Diaz, their bullpen's been a little shaky at times here to here. So if the Cubs could get guys like Ronnie Mauricio, Brett Baty, not even asking for a guy like Francisco Alvarez, then you throw in a guy like JD Davis or a guy like Dominic Smith, I think that'd be a fair return for Wilson Contreras and Robertson. So look the Mets to shake things up. As the Undertaker gif explained, they see the Braves as legit competition.
Joe, what do you got the Mets doing?
Yeah, I mean, we were all in a similar boat on Wilson Contreras, so I won't mention him too much, but it's obvious they kind of, need a catcher. But if they're going to go another route besides catcher, bullpen, as Tones alluded to, staying away from the Cubs, though, is obviously they're going to have a plethora of people they could deal away close to the deadline. Tigers got a couple of guys too, maybe a lefty like Andrew Chafin, Michael Fulmer, Joe Jimenez. You got guys like that who could be on the move. And we talk about all these teams that need bullpen help, but everybody could use bullpen help, right? And you never have enough of that when it gets to the postseason. So I think a lot of these guys are going to be shoveled off, even guys like Michael Givens on the Cubs and, Chris Martin. There's going to be bullpen arms that are moving all around here. Sometimes some teams might have to overpay, as it seems like everybody's going to be in the market here. But I mean, a lot of these teams do have middle relief help. You got to bridge it to your closer. Most teams do have that solved. But if your starter only goes 3-4 innings in the postseason, you got to load up on that bullpen. And I look for the Mets to do that because they got a pretty good starting rotation. If they could solve the catcher bullpen, I think, look at the Cubs, call the Tigers about Chafin, like I said, maybe go that route and solidify that. So I would go bullpen catcher for the Mets.
Yeah, I do believe that the Mets are going to have to do something bullpen wise as well. And catcher, I'm a little surprised. Well, never mind. He's arbitration eligible for the next 2 years. So I don't know why they keep saying that Pablo Lopez is in the mix for the for the Marlins getting traded, because if you look at the fact he's arbitration eligible now, depending on what they think he might bring in arbitrationally speaking, that might have something to do with it. They think he's about to jump to another tier. They may not be able to afford it. But real quick, let's just go around, and then I'm going to throw some names at y'all. So real quick, Tones, where are the Yankees and Dodgers going? Give me one big name apiece, or one name. It doesn't have to be a big name.
Yeah, I think Yankees, I'll be consistent. Quintana and Bednar from the Pirates for number 71 prospect Ken Waldichuk, left-hander. And I think the Dodgers end up trading Dustin May to the Athletics for Frankie Montas and Lou Trevino and Tony Kemp.
Man, are the Yankees going to be pissed off if they end up with Yankee fans going to be pissed off if they end up with Jose Quintana?
Bednar would be a nice help, but I agree.
Bednar is but look, I really like Bednar. I would love for the Braves to get him. Don't get me wrong, but Jose Quintana is a guy that's going to get pounded in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
The soft tosser, he tries to fool you around the plate. Nowadays, I just don't think his game works. He's fine regular season for a team if you're just wanting to alleviate your. Let me put it this way. If the Yankees go into the postseason in a 7-game series against the Houston Astros and Jose Quintana is on the hill starting any of those games, that's a wrap.
And the hope is you wouldn't necessarily need him in the postseason, as you'd go Cole, Cortez, Talley, and Montgomery, but their fifth starter keeps getting hurt, so he'd fill in nicely, I guess, in the regular season.
And I'm not a believer in Domingo Germán. He pitched okay the other night, but man, that guy has been garbage for the last couple of years. I had it in fantasy way too many times to believe in that clown. He's going to go out there and he's got a 2 1/3 innings pitched appearance around the corner with 7 earned runs. Trust me. Joey, give me one good name for the Yankees and the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, this might not be as strong as either on the Yankees side, but I truly believe as long as all the Tones alluded to in starting pitching, maybe you go for a Frankie Montas who just came back from injury, or Tyler Mahle. I know that's a couple names, but a back of the end rotation guy. It's not going to get you excited, that's for sure, but you need to finish out the season strong, and you need a couple of depth arms. So I go starting pitching if I'm the Yankees. Maybe taking a guy like Montas, like I said, who just got back off.
I'll tell you another one I really ought to think about, because I think he's very underrated. No one's really talking about him. But man, give me some Tyler Mahle and pinstripes. I think that would make the Yankees a very formidable. He doesn't get the love because he plays in Cincinnati. But if you ever watch Tyler Mahle pitch, he can be a big game pitcher, big right-hander, and let's go.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, and like I said, that's one of the 2 names I would allude to, but being a guy who watches some Reds baseball.
I'm a little concerned about Montas because he's been injured this year, and the last time out they only put him out there for 50 pitches because they wanted to showcase him without getting him injured. Tones, Joey, don't correct me if I'm wrong. If I have to worry that a guy is going to throw more than 50 pitches and he may get hurt again, I don't know if I want to give up my farm system for him.
Right. You're not wrong.
No, I completely agree. It would be a little bit of a risky move, especially to give up top guys. And you know how some of these teams get a little desperate. In terms of the Dodgers, I'd probably look at the bullpen most likely. I mean, their lineup clearly doesn't need too much to me. But again, with the starters I just mentioned, maybe you could go there. But in terms of bullpen, look for them to go heavy on a guy like Nate Robertson. I mean, everyone's going to be after him, right? So anything could happen there. But Dodgers go pitching, and more pitching if I'm them.
I'm going to grab two teams we haven't really talked about. St. Louis Cardinals. I think they are the Juan Soto winners. I think they get the trade done. They're going to have some flexibility in their on their pay scale here in the next couple of seasons, and they could back the truck up for St. Now, the curious thing is, would Juan Soto go over well in the St. Louis Cardinal culture? Because he's a big me, look at me guy, right? And the Cardinal way has always been win first. So that's the only part that I don't know. And what about Ohtani? Everyone keeps saying Ohtani could be traded. I think he could be. But would they wait until the offseason? They still have one more year before he becomes a free agent. And I keep circling this team. Normally, they're big-time players. They haven't been in the last few years in the free agent market. They really would need a big name. They're losing some guys and freeing up some space. What about the Boston Red Sox landing Shohei Ohtani? Because people keep talking about the Braves doing, and I've seen on MLB Network. I've seen it. The problem is for the Braves to land Ohtani, there's two big things. I think they're going to want two of the players that are currently on the Braves roster. Okay. And what the hell is that about? You're trying to make a run at the World Series. You don't want to clip your team down. And then the other thing is when he becomes a free agent, Braves are going to sign Ohtani to a $500 million deal, which I think is what it's going to take to sign Ohtani. Man, I don't know. Because he's the only guy that can say, I can play two positions. You got to pay me like that. At an elite level. No matter what Deebo Samuel thinks he is, Ohtani is that. And man, $500 million. I think he's going to go to the bright lights in big cities somewhere. He's either going to be a Met, Yankee, a Red Sox, a Dodger. He's not coming to the Atlanta Braves with their not long term to be. They couldn't sign Freddie Freeman for $160 million. Over 5 years, they're going to give this jackwad $500 million. And look, I get it. I would do it as an owner because I feel like I'd make it back in jersey sales, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, man, you put Ohtani in an Atlanta Braves uniform, every kid around the Southeast and every Ohtani fan that's already out there in the world would want the new Ohtani jersey.
I'd get a T-shirt, a Braves one.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you're a baseball fan in Japan and you followed Ohtani's career and you find out he's gone to Atlanta, you won't be able to keep an Atlanta Braves anything on the shelf over in Japan.
Fair.
It'll be impossible because they're probably overloaded with Angels crap right now.
Yeah, I got one of those shirts for Tones actually just a little bit ago. But yeah, no, the big market, the bright lights make sense. I mean, unfortunately, the Angels have been bad for a long time now. Guys like Trout and Ohtani.
You know, I can put Chicago in that mix. Why can't the Cubs go out and make it
big market?
And I keep saying he has ties to Seiya Suzuki. They used to play together overseas, so
that would be huge. If you had Suzuki and Ohtani on the same roster, they would become Japan's team.
Yeah, and that'd be great for the fan base.
Right. You could probably sign a deal to exclusively show Chicago Cubs baseball in Japan on whatever network they have over there.
Oh, yeah. If we'd have two of their biggest stars over here. And that'd be great for Cubs fans. Cubs are kind of in the direction where they kind of need that budding superstar. They got a couple of good pieces and some young guys on the way, but not the man. Ohtani would be a perfect fit. Now, obviously, the Ricketts are the Ricketts, so we'll see. But, pipe dreams could happen. You got to keep dreaming as a baseball fan.
I really hope that he gets moved somewhere to a contender, whether it's now or the offseason. It's better for baseball if he's on a winner.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I hate to tell everyone this because no one likes to hear this that lives out on the left coast. But if you want people to pay attention to Ohtani, you got to get them used to the Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
So even the Braves is a huge upgrade from the Angels. I don't care if the Angels win or not. Nobody's watching them.
Mm-mm.
Even the Dodgers. How many Dodgers games do you catch during the regular season?
Well, by the time they're on, it's like, you've already watched a couple ball games. You're ready for bed.
Yeah. I mean, if you want Ohtani to hit the heights, he's got to go put pinstripes on in New York, whether they're navy and blue or that terrible blue and orange. Or you go put them in the Red Sox uniform, possibly the Cubs. The Braves are such a long shot. The only reason why the Braves could be a player is if Anthopoulos really says, let's go get him. He's got them. He's got the pieces to go get him. I just don't want to give up what they would want to give for him.
You'd probably have to give up Michael Harris in that package.
I think it would be Michael Harris in one of our young pitchers.
Yeah, definitely.
Top pitcher. I saw a trade proposal last night. Michael Harris, Kyle Wright, and I forget who the third person is for Ohtani. I'm like, get the hell out of here. We're not giving away the guy who could arguably be called our ace and our young budding superstar in center field for a guy, for one person. I get that he can do both, and that's cool, and it's a cool narrative. Don't give a damn. These two guys are under team control for the next several years, and you don't have to pay the ridiculous amount.
Right.
If I'm giving up players and I'm going to have to go out a big chunk of money, I'll give you a guy that you might be able to turn around. I'll give you an Ian Anderson, a guy who was phenomenal in the postseason last year.
Correct.
Right. I'll give you him. I'll even give you another one of our top prospects, maybe two of our top prospects, but not guys that are currently sitting on my team. I want to try to win now. These windows close really fast.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking football. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
You're listening to CBS Sports Radio. We are all sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Strong opinions and your phone calls. Expected here, CBS Sports Radio.
Hey, football fans. The Armchair Quarterback Show is back. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. A 3-hour wake-up show that'll cover it all. College football, the NFL, fantasy football, and Major League Baseball. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
The Glory Hole Theme Park. We all like speaking rodents to entertain and educate our kids. And now with Jerry Gerbil, the kids have someone they can really relate to.
Go on, kids, have fun. I know it's safe.
Glory Hole Theme Park. Open every day till 3 a.m. Come live the mystery.
TGIF on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Justin Waller and Mac McGee are back at it every Friday evening right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel and your local CBS Sports affiliates. We're talking the NFL, Major League Baseball, Southern football, so grab you a cold one. It's finally Friday on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Waller and McGee getting you ready for your sports weekend. Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. We'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land. and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel. Welcome back. I'm in the middle of a bunch of slow drafts, best ball drafts. Trying to figure out my best move on this one. I've got Christian McCaffrey in this slow ball draft. We're at the end of the draft. I think I'm gonna grab Chuba Hubbard. I am Chuba Hubbard, whatever, however I pronounce his name. I do not trust McCaffrey as far as I can throw him.
I'm with you.
And he's got competition in the backfield this year for the backup, but it was ridiculous. I'm sure. Where did I get Hubbard at? I mean, CMC at? He was the 6th overall pick in this league, and I was like, man, this is a best ball, a lot different than season long. I was like, man, I cannot pass up on Christian McCaffrey, number 6 pick, because on the weeks that he is healthy, he's going to be phenomenal.
Correct.
I almost thought about doubling up, and the problem was this draft was so far along by the time the news came out about Baker Mayfield, but it would have been nice to double up with some Baker Mayfield because he's going to do some dump off passes to him.
Oh, yeah. McCaffrey and Mayfield. I mean, we've seen what a guy like Kareem Hunt could do out of the backfield there, catching balls. Nick Chubb doesn't catch a lot of passes, but when he does, he's effective. Baker Mayfield likes to dump the ball off, so he should get a ton of catches. If he's on the field.
This is George Kittle, and I've got Trey Lance. I've got Matt Ryan in this league because I got Pittman.
Love it.
Good combo right there. Trey Lance,
Brandon
another
Ayuk.
great name.
Yeah, I got Brandon Ayuk. I went ahead and grabbed a third quarterback, Zach Wilson. So my final pick, I've already got it queued up. There's no way he's going to be taken because it's at the end of the draft. I think I'm going to grab that CJ Uzama that came from the Bengals. It's with the Jets, and take a stab at him as my backup tight end.
Did you see the T-shirt CJ Uzama wore?
That's another reason why I'm making the pick, because I'm like, okay, so these are just stabs in the dark at this point. But I'm like, you know what? That might be worth 3 or 4 touchdowns right there.
That thing was awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm in 7 right now that are slow drafts. One is with Steven and Brian, and man, that thing is a tortoise.
Well, Steven's in it.
Yeah, well, man, look, where is it at? I've got it queued up somewhere. Okay.
Steven's very thorough with his picks. I'll say he knows what he's doing. So I would imagine a guy like that.
Well, Brian in the chat says McGee's afraid of him. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever been accurate. Any scale. We started this damn thing last Saturday. We're only in the 10th round.
Oof.
Yeah.
Wow, 10th round 1 week later. Okay, that's round and a third a day. There you go.
Brian's in it, so there's some special learning needs there that slows it down. Everyone else gets 8 hours to pick. His is always flashing 24. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. He's got to get on the short bus to go over there and,
Hey, fellas.
All right. By the way, before we get into baseball real quick, is this Jaylen Brown KD trade actually going to happen, or is this just a bunch of smoke? It's weird with baseball, bam, they come out of nowhere and the trades hit you, and it is what it is, right? It seems like NBA trades, they build up for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then they just eventually happen.
How do you feel? I mean,
I don't know how to feel about it, man.
Because it makes you bet. I mean, obviously, it makes you.
KD's arguably the best player in basketball. You could argue that, but he's also going to be 34 this year.
Right. And
Jaylen Brown's 25, so I really don't know how to feel about it.
I thought already after adding, young talents around that they would have been okay with making moves, but like they already got Brogdon from Indiana. They already, have a good young nucleus there. Now, Durant, like you said, in the next 2 to 3 years, you win one ring. Who cares about all that, right? But to me, Boston could be good for the next 5 seasons and run the East.
Yeah, I would be hesitant just because, I mean, KD, if you lose.
What I don't like about it is when they start talking about putting Marcus Smart in there too. Because then I'm like, all right, well, dude, that's cool that you're going to go get this massively great talented player, but you're going to take 2 of your important pieces. That's the part I don't like.
Yeah, if you 2 out of 5, you replace them with 1. We've seen KD last year, with not a lot of help with the Nets. You deplete too much help with the Celtics. Be careful.
I mean, Brogdon helps alleviate some of that pain, but if nothing else, man, Marcus Smart's a hell of a 6th man to pull off the bench.
Correct.
At points in the NBA Finals and throughout the playoffs, I know we all paid attention, but he might have been their most important players at important times come playoffs.
Yeah, I don't. It feels like the heart and soul of that team. I don't like that, man. I'd kind of like to see him get traded to the Nets because he'd probably kick the crap out of Kyrie Irving by like the second week of the season.
Is Ben Simmons still over there? They don't know what
playing. You're gonna get that jab, son. Make you think, anti-vaxxer. He'll have him in a headlock down by the damn nurses station. He wants it. Just give it to him. Don't worry.
Benintendi in the other arm.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. AFC East. Going to do the predictions right now. Question: does anybody have anyone different than the Buffalo Bills?
No.
Couldn't do it. Nope.
I've got them winning by like 3-4 games in that division. Do y'all have anything different?
No, as long as Josh Allen stays healthy, that's a perfect explanation. He's, to me, one of the best 3 quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, this division won't be too close if Buffalo stays healthy.
Okay, so we move on from that because the Bills are going to roast. Let's go to where we think 2, 3, and 4 because I think that's where it gets interesting. I think most of us agree the Jets are the worst team in the division, right?
Yep.
So you got the 1 team, you got the 4 team. Who finishes second? Who finishes third? And is it close? Joey, start with you.
Yes. To your second point, I think it's going to be very close. I think these are the, between New England and Miami where you're going to get in that 8, 9, 10 win range. I think the Buffalo Bills probably around 12, maybe 13 wins. And then the other teams more fall wayside with a possible chance at the last wild card. After breaking down the depth charts and looking at both teams, though, is because I hate New England. If I could put them on the back burners, I would love to do so, being an Indianapolis Colts fan. But it's not that easy. I know they lost their offensive coordinator, obviously, and McDaniels, and they're doing some interesting things coaching there. But Miami has the star power, but I just think it's a little too soon for them still. I wanted to put them in second, but that's putting a lot of faith in Tua Tagovailoa. I think Tyreek Hill is going to have a down year from being I think people are just expecting greatness out of him. I think, you leave the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. I don't care how fast and how good a burner you are. It's going to be an adjustment period there. They do have a new coaching staff. I'm not sure about him yet. So to me, though, when you have question marks at quarterback, your head coach, and I can't put you ahead of Bill Belichick, even if I don't love what they're exactly doing over there. They got Devontae Parker from Miami. I think that was a good low-key move. Mac Jones in his second year in New England, I think is going to only help that they have a good running game. So I'm going to put New England in second place with I'll go 9 wins, and then Miami right behind them with 8 wins, and I'm going to leave it that close. But I can't put all my eggs in one basket with Tua and McDougal yet, so that's why I'm going New England.
Tones, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, I have the Dolphins finishing second. This is a team who's finished 500 for 2 years in a row now, 10-6 in 2020, 9-8 last season. And to me, they've made vast improvements this offseason. Myles Gaskin went from running back 1 to running back 4 on their depth chart. So they've done a tremendous job of adding dink and dunk pieces out of the backfield for them. Tyreek Hill and Cedric Wilson, they've added to their weaponry. So it doesn't really matter. They lost Devontae Parker because they still upgraded at wide receiver. Then you throw in Jalen Waddle to that. Sheesh. You add in that star-studded offensive lineman in Tariq Armstead. Then on the defense, you have 2 lockdown corners, Xavier Howard and Byron Jones. Oh, and by the way, Emmanuel Ogbah coming off the edge. I think Miami is set up for success if one man, Tua Tagovailoa, could somehow right the ship. Even with bad, inconsistent quarterback play the past couple of seasons, they finish over 500 in both. If Tua even shows vast improvement, this team should be interesting. Now, the thing is, they end the year tough. They start the year tough on the schedule. They have a decent middle, so they really got to hold the glue together to open the gates and to end the gates. I see Miami finishing with 10 wins this year, and then I got Patriots finishing in third. You just look at their depth chart. It's not impressive. Devontae Parker, it's a little help, but we know at this point in his career, he is not a wide receiver number 1. They lost J.C. Jackson defensively. They lost Stephon Gilmore last season defensively. Their defense isn't the same. Their offense isn't the same. I think we're in a little bit of an identity rebuild for this New England team, and I see them getting around 7 wins this season and finishing in third. And then I see the Jets just bottoming out. Even though I do think they've improved a little bit, I don't see them eclipsing the 5 to 6 win mark. So I got Buffalo, Miami, New England, and then the lovely Jets finishing in 4th.
I've got the Patriots finishing second, and it's mainly because in Belichick, I believe. We don't know what Miami's going to be. I think they're going to be a team that has a lot of talent all over the field except behind the center. And I think Tua is still a guy that when he's pressured is going to make mistakes and he's going to throw him up for grabs. Mac Jones doesn't mind handing the ball off 68 times in a game. We know this, right? And he's got a decent little running game. James White will be back, which is a good option for him to dump off into the backfield. And you mentioned Devontae Parker. Look, you still got Jacoby Myers, you got Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, all those guys are there. And can we see some real production out of Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith? They went out and signed these 2 guys last year. What the hell did they do? They basically ignored them all year long. Henry got a little bit of a touchdown love towards the end of the season, but seriously, what the hell was that? I just feel like they're going to have defense because Belichick always has a good defense. I don't care what the roster says. He's going to find a way to mix and match with you, and that's going to be the difference. But it's not going to be enough to overtake the Bills. I think they'll be somewhere around the 9-10 game win range, like 10-7. They'll sneak into the playoffs, and it'll probably be an early exit. But I'll be interested to see the maturation of Mac Jones from year 1 to year 2 under Belichick.
Yeah, because he looked efficient and effective at times last year, but, didn't really take that next step. This year is a big year for Mac Jones.
Absolutely, because, what he didn't get that Brady got to sit behind Bledsoe for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He got thrown right into the fire. So he's had an off season to try to digest everything. And Mac Jones, to me, is a guy that's going to go out there and work his ass off. And we'll see am I saying draft Mac Jones in your fantasy football draft? Absolutely not. Because I never liked Brady as my fantasy football quarterback when he was in New England. You never knew what you were going to get out of him. Now that Brady's essentially the offensive coordinator in Tampa, Brady throws the ball forward if they're up 35-0 with 3 minutes left. But when he was in New England, they could be up 10-6, and that's it. Belichick, shut it down. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a fun year. And look, as far as the Jets go, I think that's going to be an exciting team to watch.
Yeah.
To see what Zach Wilson can bring to the next table, but they aren't going to make some big leap and bound, because the thing about Zach Wilson is no matter how good of a season he has, I still think that defense is not very good.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to give up points. He's going to be running around for his life, but he's got weapons now, and that's going to make it fun. They bring in Garrett Wilson. What can they do with the receivers that are already there? A guy that gets forgotten about, Braxton Berrios, is the guy that moves the chains. So, anyways, we move on to that. Your fantasy running backs. We're going to run out of time here if we don't do this right. So, fantasy running backs. I'll tell you what, since we're probably going to run out of time if we try to do the entire list, give me some sleepers and busts. Let me see if I can set this up right. So we got, sorry, my phone is acting weird, man.
Technology.
Yeah, let's do some sleepers and busts. We'll start with sleepers.
Yes.
Give me 2 or 3 from you, Tones, and then 2 or 3 from you, Joey.
Okay, that's perfect. The amount I got written down. I like Ramondre Stevenson out of the Patriots backfield. He came on strong towards the end of last year.
You're living dangerous, man.
I also like
running back. Let's go.
I also like Rashad White out of the Bucs backfield. They don't have that backup running back now that Ronald Jones is gone, and he expects to be a premier pass catcher out of there. And then I like Mark Ingram as well. Alvin Kamara should be suspended at some capacity for the season, and Ingram will always be a goal line threat. And Tony Jones Jr. is their third running back, so no threat there. So my sleepers are Rashad White in Tampa, Mark Ingram, and I like Ramondre Stevenson more than people like him even. Some people might like him a little bit. I like him a lot this year. Do you want me to give busts now as well? Or
No. Joey, what are your sleepers?
Yeah, I was looking at the bottom half. I try to pick all guys under about the 30 mark range. And I'm going to start locally with Nyheim Hines. When he has a quarterback that can't, make the deep throws like Matt Ryan and like a Phillip Rivers did 2 years ago when Nyheim Hines had 63 catches. A lot of the short passes there, look for him to be pretty explosive in fantasy. A lot of people got their eyes on Taylor, of course, but Nyheim Hines is a different type of back. He's going to be used a lot in the passing game. I look for him to actually eclipse his 63 high catch mark and get even more. They didn't re-sign guys like T.Y. Hilton, that receiver, and the receiver department is a little Another running back, Kareem Hunt. I know it's a big name, but he's always going to be versatile, especially when we don't know what Deshaun Watson exactly is going to happen yet. We got to be getting news on that suspension sooner than later, but I look for him to be a bigger factor early on without Deshaun Watson being there. And then Marlon Mack, he's in Houston. A lot of guys won't trust him because, he was injury riddled a couple seasons ago, but the Texans are going to need to ground and pound. I'm still not a huge believer in Mills. And Marlon Mack, he did just have, people probably don't believe it, but in 2019, he had 1,100 yards rushing. The year before that, 1,000. So he has had good years, and now he's finally healthy. So my three are Nyheim Hines, Kareem Hunt, and Marlon Mack.
If you go to Houston, give me some Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce, explosive. Now he's not going to be a bell cow for the Texans, but he has got some speed, and it'll be interesting to see how they use him. I'm a little skeptical in drafting him in like best ball drafts because you can't drop them, right? But in year-long fantasy, at the end of the draft, I'd take a stab on him. Snoop Connor for the Jaguars. Remember something. James Robinson may not even play this year, but if he does play, it's going to be later in the season. So someone's got to help spell Travis Etienne, and Etienne's coming off a major injury. They're not going to give him the damn ball 30 times a game. So Snoop Connor could sneak in there for a lot of work there as far as one of your deeper picks. Definitely a handcuff that you want. All right, Bus, give me 3 guys that you say, I'm not saying the guys are horrible, but you're not drafting them where they're at. Right? It's like it goes back to the old Joe Mixon thing when people would say, "Oh, you just think Joe Mixon sucks." No, I didn't like the fact that Joe Mixon was constantly being drafted in the top, and at the end of the season, you're like, he's not even top 20, right? Or if he was barely top 20, but you were drafting him in the top 4 or 5. Now he's being drafted more about where he's appropriated, where he should be. All right, give me 3 Bus tones.
I'm going with Elijah Mitchell and San Fran. They always kind of have a crowded backfield. Jeff Wilson comes back from injury. They did draft a running back from LSU this year as well, and Trey Sermon's coming back from injury. So he's got a little crowded backfield over there. Rashad Penny, a lot of people like him with the Carson injury, but they drafted Kenneth Walker. They still have Travis Homer, and they still have DJ Dallas as well. So their backfield's a little crowded. And then this is kind of one of those guys, Melvin Gordon, I think is overdrafted as well. Then my last guy is one of those guys who I don't hate, but like you said, I feel like he's overdrafted. I think Ezekiel Elliott is getting overdrafted a little bit this year. I think Tony Pollard's going to eat into his carries. Not that I hate Zeke, because he will produce on some weeks, but I still have him overdrafted. So my overdrafted running backs or busts this year are Elijah Mitchell, Rashad Penny, Melvin Gordon, and Ezekiel Elliott.
Joey, what say you?
Yeah, and I'm going to go a little more at the cream of the crop because I had a draft where I had Le'Veon Bell a few years ago, and then he never played. So I get scared of these running backs at the very top, and that starts with Christian McCaffrey. We talked about him a lot, but I can't trust him at where he's being drafted at. I'm not going to put my fantasy football team in the first round in the position where you're going to draft a guy who's been known to play less than half the season over the past couple of years. I just simply cannot do it. I love him as a player, but where he's being taken still, I can't do it. So I'm out on him. Another guy I'm going to be out on in the top round is Alvin Kamara. I think this is going to be an injury-riddled year for him. I think they rely way too heavily on him in their quarterback situation. I know they got Winston back. He looked good early on. But what happens if things start to go south early? Every team knows they need to gear up for Alvin Kamara. So I'm not just fully trusting him in that regard. And then another player who I don't like where they're being drafted, even though he had a good rookie season, and I know they got him Russell Wilson, but Broncos running backs are hard to trust. I think everyone's going to be really high on Javonte Williams this year, and then you're going to get someone sneaking in the back end of their second or third running back who we usually Broncos always do that with good running games. So I'm not saying I don't like McCaffrey. I'm not saying I don't like Alvin Kamara, but for where they're being drafted at, it's a little too pricey for me because I don't want a guy in the first round who has the potential to be injured for quite some time. So I just can't take that. And then suspension plays a factor too in anything. I think Kamara deals with that a little bit here and there. So I just don't want to trust the guy on my team who might not play every game. I know it's hard to predict, but the history is there for guys like McCaffrey.
I'm going to echo what Tone said about Zeke. I think he's going too high, and I don't think they're going to he's not going to be a bell cow. They're going to limit his touches. Kamara, the reason why I'm not drafting him as high as he's going, where's he at? He's number 13 on CBS Sports Line. The guy's probably going to miss 6 games.
Yep.
And if you're going to draft a guy that high, to get Kamara, you have to draft him probably second round. And you're going to miss him for 6 games. You are really threatening your ability to make the playoffs if you don't have a top running back available for the first 6 games. I get it if you're like, oh, I can do it. Look, if you're in a league with a bunch of schmoes, yeah, go ahead. Because if you can figure out a way to make the playoffs, he might be dangerous going down the stretch. But, man, 6 games, that's a lot of losses that you could absorb. The other two are both working in the same city. Saquon Barkley is going way too damn high. He has been very disappointing. He's number 11 overall on CBS Sports Line this morning. 11th? You're going to take him over. And look, I would take Kamara over him just because I know the fact that Kamara still produces. But you're going to take – he's going over guys like David Montgomery, James Conner, Javonte Williams, Nick Chubb. No way. No way am I taking Barkley that high. And Breece Hall. Breece Hall, I get it. He's the new young toy in New York, and the Jets – fans, you can do it. They're not going to be leading any ball games. He's not going to be running the ball. He's not going to catch that many dump offs. They're not going to all of a sudden just turn this into we're going to run the screen pass every play. Ready? Let's go. They didn't go out and get Garrett Wilson to do that. Right. Nope. So I can't buy into that. All right. Real quick. The Big Ten. Who are they adding, Joey? Next, they've got Southern Cal, they've got UCLA. Give me two big names that they add next.
Oh, man, I don't know if it's gonna. If Notre Dame has to be on there, in my opinion. I gotta go with
gotta be, don't they?
Yeah, that's a slam dunk. I mean, first off, they're really close every year. Annually, me, Tones, my father, and a couple others go to a game with. It's right there. You can't miss it. They need to be in a conference anyways. That's been the biggest complaint for years around when they're pretty good to make playoff time. And then people go off of their, schedule or say they're not in a conference. Put Notre Dame in the Big Ten, call it a day. Everyone's happy. And then is a second team. I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen at all, but is it possible at all that a team like Miami, the Hurricanes, can make it to the Big Ten, or they would never go over? They would never stretch to the Big Ten. I mean, that's a team. I'm not saying they're going to move, but I'm intrigued to see what Miami
would go in a heartbeat. Whether or not the Big Ten really wants them, I don't know.
Yeah, and they've been obviously in the early 2000s had more success, been struggling at more as of late.
They just don't have much of a fan base, no matter what Brian tries to tell you every Saturday. Their fan base is non-existent, right? They have terrible ratings. They don't have a fan base, and you're living in the past, man. Like this is like someone trying to sell you. It's not that far removed that when I was growing up as a kid, when people would try to tell me how Army football was great, right? Miami's Army football, my guy. I mean, it's been 20-something years since they've been relevant. And though they sit in Miami and you think that's a big deal, the Gators and the Seminoles get much bigger ratings. I think Florida State would go to the Big Ten if the SEC doesn't pan out.
Mm-hmm.
My question about, and I don't even hate the idea of going to the Big Ten or the SEC. My question is, can they pull it off? Because Florida State's currently in the ACC, ABC, ESPN contract. And if they go over to the Big Ten, you're talking about flip-flopping over into Fox. That's where it gets tricky.
Yeah, and since Brian just said Notre Dame's trash, I hope Miami just falls off the cliff and the chain gang is gone for good. So I'm over Miami.
Well, they finally got rid of the dopey chain goofy.
How about when they were bad and they would still put that on players? What a joke.
When? They've always been bad since they've been doing that. They ain't even been relevant.
Fair.
I watched the replay yesterday of a bad Florida State team kicking the crap out of them like last year. And Florida State sucked. We didn't even qualify for a bowl game, but we beat Miami's ass. Tones, what say you on the Big Ten?
Yeah, and I think you make a good point with FSU Miami as being the backup plan because Big Ten's already expanding out west. So I think that's their main priority right now. Besides Notre Dame, I'm not going to talk about Notre Dame because that's the obvious choice. Joe already talked about them. The two teams I see them adding next, however, they've already added two California teams. I think they're going to try and dominate the California market. I think Stanford and Cal join in as well to give them 4 teams total out of the state of California. You don't have to travel all those California teams every week. Then Central West, same with the Big Ten Central. And it helps their California viewership. It helps their expansion. We know They land some duds here and there. So a team like Cal fits the mold. And then Stanford, I think, would be a great fit in the Big Ten as well. I think they play some nitty-gritty Big Ten type football. So I'd go with right after Notre Dame, Stanford and Cal type.
Yeah, if I'm going, Notre Dame's got to be the first one off the board.
Correct.
And Notre Dame falls, that's when everything's going to go into place. I got a feeling that when Notre Dame goes to the Big Ten, Florida State and Clemson are headed to the SEC. So who would they couple with that? And man, the Big Ten really ought to think about grabbing a Pittsburgh, a Boston College, get something over on the East Coast to help them with that viewership, because you've already got Rutgers in the New Jersey area. But if you can sew up some Boston College or Pittsburgh, I like Pittsburgh more from the tradition, but Boston College makes a lot of sense because it's Boston. What is your walk-off for the day, Joey, as we introduce Bobby in?
Yeah. What up, Bobby? But at the same time, this is getting to the last weeks of football before we hit the preseason. I'm going to enjoy, my fight night weekends, as I call them, big wrestling and UFC weekend before football steps in and totally tramples all over both of those. But I'm going to be into it tonight, finish my move off here.
SummerSlam or something tonight?
It is SummerSlam, the biggest event of the summer. So that's honestly like
that's
a Super
tonight.
Bowl. It's in Nashville, Tennessee, 70,000 sold out strong at Titan Stadium.
70,000 people in Nashville watching wrestling.
Hey, what's better than man in Speedos? Am I right?
All 70,000 sharing a full set of teeth.
Come on, man. Have a good one, y'all.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Bobby's joining us, and we're going to dive into some fantasy football and Kyler Murray. And here's hoping Bobby did at least 4 hours of video homework as we get ready. We'll be back in a flash. Saturday mornings, the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition like no other. We dive into the Southeastern Conference and the Southern teams in the National Football League. We talk the betting lines, fantasy football. So join us Saturday mornings and get your football weekend started right with the Armchair Quarterbacks, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, right here on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel.
G'day. Hi, it's Dean, calling from Cyprus.
Buongiorno, Dino.
My mate wants me to rub sun cream on his back.
Holy dooly. A delicate matter. But a bird wingman is useless. So there are rules.
Okay.
Only put creamer he can't reach. Between his shoulder blades. The safe zone.
But anything else?
Whack it on thick, mate. Last thing you want to do is a second coach.
And remember, Dino, the following things are not permitted.
Eye contact.
Scented candles.
Power balance.
And do not apply if he's wearing budgie smugglers.
Are we all clear?
Crystal. Cheers, fellas.
No dramas.
Armchair.
Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves country baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
What happens when 5 eligible bachelors welcome a little girl into their lives?
Hey, it's my turn in the bathroom.
Stop hilarity. My 5 uncles.
Hey, Gina, welcome to your new home. You sleep in there, and we all sleep in here.
The show that shows family values exist even in unconventional families.
Oh, what are you guys doing in there?
Taking hilarious comedy in a whole new funny direction.
I don't get it. Why don't any of you guys have a steady girlfriend? I'm an emotionally abused orphan. Can I get in on any of these group hugs?
My 5 uncles, Thursday nights on LSBC.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel. Welcome back. As we head into, what is this? This is so we're just around the corner from August, guys. Believe it or not, as we welcome in Bobby. Bobby, how the hell are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Hope you got that 4 hours of study time in.
I did, and it wasn't in my contract either.
It is now. If you haven't checked our Twitter feed this week, it is. And we're not retracting it like the cowards at the front office of the Arizona Cardinals are. We're keeping it.
Yeah, that
4 hours. It's so funny. I saw a thing yesterday where they talked about the 4 hours, and they said, do you know how many hours Tom Brady spends? And I know he's the extreme, but when you compare his 4 hours it's being asked, they said that he averages about 50 hours. Now,
yeah, 4 hours is a normal afternoon for one of those guys.
Right. I mean, it's like, what are we talking about? Now, I will say this. They're talking about independent film studies. So is Brady in there for all 50 hours when ESPN says something like, or is it 50 hours by himself? Or is that, I'd say Brady's probably in there with other quarterbacks, but the point is 4 hours in a week.
Yeah, it's not a lot. And I have a feeling, I mean, it would be shocking if Kyler wasn't already doing that, if you were able to get to this point without already, doing 4 hours a week. So I don't see why there was a reason to begin with to put it in the contract. But it even looks worse that you take it out afterwards. It's just, it looks cowardly, and it's just an embarrassment.
And you had Lincoln Riley. He did come to the defense of Kyler Murray, his former college head coach. He said, listen, the only thing that I've ever faulted Kyler Murray for was studying too hard. And now you don't know if that's, him just having his back as a friendship type thing or what that is. But that's a pretty good endorsement from a head coach like Lincoln Riley at the college ranks. And as Bobby alluded to, I know Kyler Murray kind of put himself in this situation by making a comment on a podcast or in an interview or whatnot. He said, I have the ability to read defenses on the fly, so I don't have to study as much film. However, I think that got taken way out of proportion, kind of like when Gronk said, I don't need to study film. So I think
but to make it worse, he goes and has the impromptu press conference, unscheduled, to address it and talk about the disrespect.
I think that disrespect should be taken up with the front office, not with the media.
Correct.
The disrespect should be taken up with himself. He signed the contract. He signed the contract. And if you sign the contract, shut the hell up, you crybaby.
It's like us clicking I agree to Apple terms and just saying all right and not reading what they're saying. Hey, maybe we have to do film studies.
Now, when they go to sign,
I'm kidding.
Their agent sits them down and says, here are the clauses. They go over it step by step. It's not like, I know what you're referring to. It's not like that. It doesn't go down that way. Your agent goes through it. And that definitely would have been something that they would have went over because it's out of the ordinary, right? This isn't something that's in anybody's contract. What gets me, it got leaked quick, which means somebody in the Kyler Murray camp leaked it.
Somebody had to,
because I doubt Arizona leaks it because they don't want that. They're like, good God, what good's going to come from this, right?
Well, yeah, I just don't see why they would feel the need to put it in there in the first place. Because 4 hours, if he's not at least doing 4 hours to begin with, then something's terribly wrong. And it would be mind blowing to find out that he's made it this far in football without doing 4 hours a week. That's not possible. So I don't see why it was in the contract to begin with. It's so confusing to me.
Garrett, I see your comments, and we talked about this earlier. You can always rewind and watch the whole thing, but I think the Braves are going to go after an infielder / outfielder like a Drury, like an Ian Happ type. And I really hope that they go out and get Roberts from the Cubs or Bednar of Pittsburgh. There's a couple other names that are out there kind of circling around, but you got to figure the Braves are not going to pull up the dump truck to essentially go out and get a platoon piece in the outfield, because Ozzie Albies should be back in 2 weeks. Now, it would be great to add a Merrifield, but I don't know if they're going to give up what the Royals may be asking for Brandon Merrifield. So I like Merrifield. I really like Drury. I've been talking about Drury for the last couple of weeks. And I think the Braves can make things happen with Drury. What would be great is to bring in Drury and Tyler Mahle in. Bam. And then go get Dave Roberts. Bam. But that's not how the Braves do it. The Braves last minute will get like 4 guys. And you're like, what the hell did they just do? And you just hope for the best.
You hope 2 of them rise to the top. That's what they did last year, and it worked. They got Rosario, Duval, Peterson,
right.
the reliever, the Rich Rod.
Rich Rod did not work out. That's
your buddy, though.
That was not my buddy. That did not work out. He was DFA'd, so that's how much that worked out. Rich Rod, he got to Atlanta, and people found out quickly his fastball didn't move. Yeah, he throws 95, but it's straight. They were just teeing off on him.
That Pittsburgh wind front, from the lake or ocean was making it move a little bit.
Something like that. Anyways, moving on to, you realize a week from today, we will have football to have talked about. We will be reacting to this coming Thursday night, Jaguars Raiders in the Hall of Fame game. Now, I'm putting that on the back burner. Could care less about that because Braves are playing Mets starting Thursday night, and that's more important to me. But a lot of people will be watching that. They all say they're going to watch it, and they'll watch it for like 3 or 4 snaps, and they go, ugh, this is terrible.
Once the backups go in.
It's really quick how you go from, man, I'm glad football's here, and then what I'm telling you, it's not even one series that you get through, and you're like, ugh, preseason football, snooze, I'm done. Yeah. Which is good. Well, look, it's good to me that they went and that they dropped it down to, what is it, just 3 preseason games? I think 2 is coming. 2 is right around the corner. When they go to 18 games schedule, they're going to go down to 2 preseason games.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially,
I'm sorry, do what?
Especially now too, that more teams are, doing these camps and practices with other teams as well. You're already getting that contact and competitive nature without preseason. Like Bucks and Dolphins have a whole week of practices lined up, and last year Bucks and Titans had a whole week of practices lined up. So those reps almost help you more than preseason anyways.
Yeah, and the interest, the TV numbers aren't what they used to be. When you've got all these other things that you can watch, preseason football goes on the back burner. You notice last year we didn't even get a major. Normally, you get a Friday night or Saturday night game on one of the major networks, and last year it was all NFL Network.
Mm-hmm.
I remember for years. It was like the second week of the season, Fox always did a Friday night game, and it feel like CBS did a Thursday night game like the following week. And then you get the ESPN Monday night game. I think ESPN's still doing their Monday night game, but it is, remember they tried to do the Hall of Fame game on a Sunday night recently? That didn't get any viewership, so they're putting it back onto Thursday night. But anyways, I mean, I'll watch it. I'll put it on in the background and keep an eye on certain things, especially when, the NFL Network reruns the whole damn thing. So I'll just put it on in the background. But that's only because I play fantasy football. I want to know, like, who's actually going to be, especially with the rookies, who's actually got a chance this year.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be doing that. Like, you think I watch preseason basketball? Hell no. You know why? Because I don't play fantasy basketball because it sucks. Okay. Moving on from that, let's go ahead and get into the Kyler Murray contract. Look, all in all, you put the joking aside about how he's got to be told to study for 4 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
I think the AAV's fair. I think the best part about it for the Arizona Cardinals viewpoint is, man, they didn't get locked into something long-term with him, because you still don't really know what you have. What say you?
I think the talent's undeniable. My only two concerns with him lie with his potential to get injured. We've seen in the past few seasons where, midway point of the season, he'll tweak an ankle or something. He'll miss a few weeks. So there's that injury concern. And then there's also, I worry a little bit. I don't think he's the main culprit with this, but I think his lack of mental fortitude a little bit contributes to why our seasons start to go downhill late. I think most of that lies with Kingsbury. I think that's a product of him. But I think Kyler, I worry about that with him. I think when there's adversity, it doesn't go as well. He's not a quarterback that handles adversity as well as others.
Tones, how do you see that contract?
Nowadays in the NFL, it doesn't look too bad, right? I feel like a couple years ago, 3, 5, 7, however much you want to rewind, it would have been like, holy crap, they gave Kyler the Brinks truck. But nowadays, you look to a team like Cleveland, they're giving quarterbacks who are suspended that much money, and you look around at other teams and you see these mediocre guys. Just a couple of years ago, Mike Glennon made almost $20 million a year in Chicago. So you see a lot of these other guys around the league and a lot of these other contracts, and then you add up the Kyler Murray totals, and like you said, they're not locked in long term, so it does not seem that bad. And it's not all fully guaranteed either, like the Deshaun Watson contract. There is about $30 to $40 million at least of that contract. It's, I think, $168 million.
That Deshaun Watson contract. What a bunch of stupidness that was.
Yeah, and that's really dumb. And, I think you could base a lot of contracts off that now. And if you base the Kyler Murray contract off of how Deshaun Watson got his, I think Arizona got themselves a good deal. I'm more concerned in Arizona with Cliff Kingsbury than Kyler Murray, if I'm being honest. I know Kingsbury got an extension as well, but Murray's availability is his biggest limitations, but that's every scrambling QB. So maybe you tell him not to run as much. Maybe you tell him to learn how, instead of running, throw the ball away or take a sack here and there. Whatever the case may be, I think Arizona got a fairly solid deal, because you got to overpay these guys nowadays, because you just never know. If you don't have Kyler Murray, you're not even close to a playoff team. With Kyler Murray, you're at the very least a wild card contender, at the very least. So Arizona has themselves a chance to stay in contention for the next 4 to 5 years with Kyler Murray.
And so what are they going to pay him? What, 46 a year?
46.1, I think, or 46, something like, it's something stupid where it's a little more, a little less than Deshaun Watson.
What are we doing with our society, man? We're paying these guys $46 million a year to play quarterback. Jesus Christ.
I tell you though, whenever Herbert and Burrow get those extensions the next year, that's going to look like nothing. They're going to be getting in the 50s.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Well, I think the next one to hit 50, that could hit 50, could be Lamar Jackson.
Possible. I wouldn't say he's worth 50, but
if Kyler's worth it, he's worth it. I mean, he's won an MVP. Now, I will say this for that, man, I'm not signing him to a long-term deal.
Mm-hmm.
So if let's say he wants 50, 4 years at the most. I'm not giving him a long-term deal. Lamar Jackson's going to get bad as he gets older.
And some team that's desperate for playoffs will give him that money. We've seen Cleveland just do it now, and who's to say they upgraded? A team who's hovering playoff contention, say if like Tua doesn't work out in Miami or something, they might just throw stupid money at Lamar Jackson.
Problem is he's not a free agent for a hot minute. They can still franchise tag him.
That's true as well.
Two more seasons. So I think if he gets that money, he's going to get it from the Ravens, but
yeah, they'll pay him for sure.
They have to.
They'll cave. Yeah.
It's like Arizona with Kyler. If you don't resign Lamar, what do you do? What do? You draft a rookie and they might turn into, one of the lower end quarterbacks like a Drew Lock or something. You just never know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's a good chance that they wait till the season gets going and then extends them through next year. So you don't get the talk of the franchise tag.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets locked in, but you still get him cheap for this year, right? I think that's most likely what happens. But man, he might get 5 years. I would go 4. But if I go 4, I don't want to pay him 50. I mean 5. If I go 5, I don't want to pay him 50. I don't mind paying him 50 for the first 4, but man, that 5th year, whoo, man, you're gonna be long in the tooth, and you might be looking like RG3.
Yeah.
And
Well, there's been reports about how he isn't in any rush to sign a deal because last year he didn't play good. He threw 16 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, which is not good numbers at all. So I don't think there's any ruch on his camp.
It's going to get better.
That's what he's hoping for. I think
he just lost Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, I don't know what the thought is, but he knows last year wasn't good, and there's no rush to sign a deal because he won't get the number he wants based on last year's performance.
I mean, I guess maybe you can make the argument that when you get Dobbins and Edwards back, you're going to have a better team. But I don't know if your numbers are going to be much better.
They'll run the ball better, yeah.
Right, which is his bread and butter. But that's, once again, for him to get that money, man. Dude, if I'm him, I'm sorry, I'm going to find me a deal, and I'm going to try to get one worked out very soon, because the worst thing that could happen to Lamar Jackson, he gets that dreaded injury that then questions, is he worth it? We're going to wait till you come back. We're going to franchise tag you this year. And he never gets his big payday.
Yeah, he missed 5 games last year as well. So we've seen that a little bit. And that's ultimately why the Ravens missed out on the playoffs. They had that long losing streak when Lamar Jackson wasn't available.
I think he's playing a dangerous game of whether or not he should sign a deal now or later, because man, he's not Tom Brady. He's not going to age well. Okay. We got a few minutes here to play something, and I wanted to go ahead and do this. And y'all are not prepared for this. We're going to do a little over under. This week, we're going to grab the National Football League win totals for this year. Okay. And we're just going to kind of bounce around with those, because some of them are interesting. Some of them are snores. Man, how bad do they think the Falcons are? 4.5. Woo.
They aren't good. They certainly aren't good.
I think I'm taking the under, honestly.
Yeah.
Who ends up with more wins? The Falcons, the Colts. See if anyone else. Those are the 2 lowest. Falcons, Colts, and I'll go ahead and throw the Jets in there. Who ends up with the most wins?
The Colts are in there. Yeah, Colts.
I'm sorry, not Colts. I said Colts. I've got Texans.
Oh man, this is
Falcons, Texans, or Jets. Who wins more games?
I'll let Bobby answer that first, and I'll think about it a little bit.
I'll say the Jets. Honestly, they got a year 2 quarterback who has some decent potential. They got him a top 10 pick or receiver. They're getting some guys back from injury, Lawson, for example. So I think they could be a decent team. I think they'll have the most wins. Not a playoff team, but of those 3, I think they'll get the most wins.
Yeah, I think the Jets as well. I think that, they have the most continuity going for them as well. Houston shook things up at head coach.
What about the Jaguars in there?
Are
the Jets the pick?
I'd still say the Jets for me.
I'd still say the Jets slightly, just because Jaguars, I got to see more from them this year before I could get that promise. You've seen a little bit here and there from the Jets last year.
I'm going to go Texans, mainly because they play in a weaker division.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
they won 4 last year. This is the second year for Davis Mills, who I actually thought played pretty well last year.
Actually, a team who I think is really going to suck is the Bears. I think they'd be in that mix for the number 1 pick.
I would agree there.
Strangely enough, the Bears, they're over under 6.5. I think that's a little high.
Okay, under quite easy.
All right, what about this? Let's go to. Let's see. Does this play? Okay, no, that doesn't play. How about this? Who has more wins? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's see if anyone else is up that high, or the Buffalo Bills. They're both of their over-unders are 11.5.
I like both the overs of 11.5, but in terms who actually wins more, I think Buffalo wins one more game perhaps than the Bucs this year, and I think the Bucs have a great season. Don't get me wrong, but they're a grueling schedule, and they're a lot more veteran team than Buffalo. So you might see that more veteran days off. You know, you might see eased up on workloads here and there, especially after the Godwin and Gronkowski and Leonard Fournette injuries last year. So give me the Bills, whether, you know, they win 13 and Tampa wins 12, something like that. But I think both do hit over 11.5.
I'll take the Bills as well. I think both teams are going to be good. I think they'll both be in contention to the top of their conferences. But I got the Bills. I think Allen's going to be the MVP candidate next year.
And I honestly, I don't think the Bucs are going to get to 12 wins. The over-under's 11.5. I think they're more like 11-6, maybe even 10-7. But that doesn't mean they don't win the division. Their schedule's so much more difficult than last year. They had one of the easier schedules in the NFL last year, and now they're not going to have Gronk. And I think they'll be okay without Gronk. Don't get me wrong, but they're not going to have Gronk to lean on, and you put a more difficult schedule in front of them. Plus, I think their division did get a little better, not a whole lot, but a little better. I think the Saints are going to be a problem, as they always are for the Bucs, and Mayfield's going to make it interesting. He's probably going to lose games against the Bucs, but he's going to make it interesting. Here's another interesting one. The Vikings or the Colts. Vikings, Colts, and Titans are all projected at 9.5 wins. And I'll go and throw the Bengals in there. Vikings, Colts, Bengals, and Titans. Who has the most wins, Bobby?
I'll take the Bengals of those 4. I think Burrow's going to have another nice year, and I think they're the best team in that conference, so I'll take them. That, and depending on Watson's situation, I think they could pick up 4 pretty easy wins in that division.
Yeah, I think it's hard not to pick the Bengals out of those teams just based on the fact that they have Joe Burrow that went to the Super Bowl last year. They have all the momentum going. Oh, and they signed 3 starting offensive linemen. So hard. Although I like the Colts and Titans as their win total overs, but give me the. I don't like the Vikings out of that group of 4 at all.
I'm gonna lean on the Titans. Once again, easier division, and I'm still not convinced. Look, I could be wrong about Matt Ryan, but man, he does not look good the last couple of seasons in Atlanta, and maybe things look different because he's going to have a much better defense. He's going to have, but this reeks of Carson Wentz to me, where they're trying to kind of get the cheat code out there, and they're going to go out there and take the shortcut, and we're going to get an aging veteran and hope everything works out well. But with that being said, I still feel like that the Titans are going to find a way. Man, 10 wins is going to be tough. I think 10 wins the division in the AFC South.
Yeah, I think Titans or Colts, they either got to win the division or they'll just miss out on the playoffs given how stacked the AFC is.
Yeah, I don't see the South getting a wild card this year. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the Jaguars are going to be a little better. I feel like the Texans are going to be a little better. And that's just going to equate to one of those games that you think is an easy win is not going to be a win.
Correct.
And so I still feel like they've got enough pieces in the offense, and they've got a good defense in Tennessee. And Tannehill will play Tannehill football, winning football. Just can't he perform in January? But we all know it's going to end and start and begin with Derrick Henry, and they're not playing him in the preseason. See a couple of people that have, clapped back on that, saying he needs to. No, he doesn't. The hell? When do you ever put a damn aging veteran into a preseason football game, especially a running back? I'd be shocked if we see Ezekiel Elliott in the damn preseason. I'd be shocked if we see Jonathan Taylor in the damn preseason. What does it matter?
I agree with that.
This isn't like spring training where you're trying to get your rhythm of hitting, right? This is
correct.
Football. You just hand the ball to them and they fall forward.
Yeah, if I were the Bucks, I would just put Brady in to hand it off a couple snaps and never have him throw or drop back in the entirety of the preseason.
All right, real quick to end this, give me over under really quick. Baltimore Ravens, 9.5 wins, over under, Tones.
I'm going over on that. I think Lamar needs to have a big year. They made some good defensive additions to their team, and they drafted pretty well, in my opinion. I got over.
Bobby, Green Bay Packers, over under, 10.5.
The receiving core looks ugly, but give me the over.
Tones, over under, Chargers, 10.5.
Under.
Bobby, over under, Rams, 10.5.
Over.
And here we go. Miami Dolphins, Trosh, 8.5, over under.
Over.
Yeah.
There we go.
Not that much over, but over.
What
9 or
about
10
Raiders,
wins.
8.5?
Over.
Yeah.
Patriots and Saints are both 8.5.
Patriots.
That's tough. Yeah, I would say Saints over, Patriots under.
Yeah, I could see the Patriots going like 8-1.
This one shocks me. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Giants are both 7.5.
Under. Easily.
Yeah.
Steelers over, Giants under.
I'm taking under on both.
Steelers, I could see the over.
Yeah, man, that's 7.5. That's a lot. All right.
I don't trust picking it up.
What is your walk-off?
Well, Joey mentioned SummerSlam. I'm going to mention the UFC card, actually. I think it's a nice card, UFC 277. You have the Chicago-born Juliana Pena taking on Amanda Nunes in the women's bantamweight title bout in the main event. You have Brandon Moreno against Joe Burrow's buddy Kai Kara France in the interim title bout for the flyweight. You got Derek Lewis fighting, Alex Perez fighting, and so much more. I'm excited for UFC live in Texas, baby. Nothing like a Texas fight night on a Saturday.
I'm not laughing at you. When Trosh popped on, Brian popped in with the comment, look, there's a homeless guy on.
Oh my. Brian's been terrible all day in the comments, man. He's been gunning at everyone.
That's what having a kid does to you.
He's been jerk off this morning. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to set up for a best ball draft. Guys, same thing as last week. We're going to wait to do the season long type next week. So if you know what I'm talking about, and I know y'all do, get in that same room and join what's on there. We'll be back in a flash.
We'll be right back.
TGIF on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Justin Waller and Mac McGee are back at it every Friday evening right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel and your local CBS Sports affiliates. We're talking the NFL, Major League Baseball, and Southern football, so grab you a cold one. It's finally Friday on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Waller and McGee getting you ready for your sports weekend.
If only the world was less like this.
I could use a smoke.
Hey, put that out.
And more like this.
I could use a smoke.
You murderer!
Smoking kills, unless you kill first. If you're around a smoker, you will die. Smokers may look relaxed and like they're having fun. Don't believe it. Vote yes on Proposition 421. Let's outlaw smoking everywhere, even in people's homes, and allow honest citizens to legally kill anyone who smokes. Let's live in a world without smokers. Prohibition works. Let's prove it. It's time to smoke the smokers. Vote yes on Proposition 421.
Join the Armchair Quarterback Show for its 9th season. And this year, we're doing it all in one show. Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, we'll be talking college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, other big games of the day. We'll be diving into the National Football League, focusing on the Southern football teams and all the big matchups throughout the land, and doing it while covering the point spreads, the over-unders, the prop bets, fantasy football. We'll tell you who to start and who to sit, and everybody's favorite, the stupid underdog picks. We'll cover Major League Baseball all the way through October and beyond. It's the Armchair Quarterback Show, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, Saturday mornings on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel. Hey, Braves fans, the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel are bringing you Braves baseball all season long. Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I'll be bringing you Braves baseball play-by-play for the Braves fans out there, for all of Braves country. So pull up an armchair and join us for Braves Country Baseball, first pitch to last pitch, Tuesday and Friday nights, right here on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
Bro, Blake, play for the love of the game, man. What's wrong with you, bro? Money should not be a thing. Bro, I'm risking my life. So imagine how much I'm actually making to play. You know what I'm saying? If I get the Rona, guess what happens with that? More Twitch streams for us. That's facts.
Armchair.
Saturday mornings, the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition like no other. We dive into the Southeastern Conference and the Southern teams in the National Football League. We talk the betting lines, fantasy football. So join us Saturday mornings and get your football weekend started right with the Armchair Quarterbacks, 9 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern, right here on Armchair Quarterbacks 1 YouTube channel. Okay, welcome back. Make sure we're in the same one.
Mine's is 7 of 10 right now.
That's what
I can see both of you in mine. We're in the same one.
Okay.
Oh, you can? Okay, sweet. When I sent you that first message, I didn't realize I didn't hit join draft yet. So, thankfully, I didn't because it would have been too late. And anyways, okay, so we will have that going here. Once the draft room opens up, we will share the screen and go from there. So as soon as y'all know that it's loading, let me know and I'll share the screen. Let's go ahead real quick. Big Ten comes out and says that Miami is one of the teams that they may be interested in. Stephen Troche, your heart of hearts, do you think they end up in the Big Ten?
Not a chance. I mean, yeah, I mean, the Big Ten could have interest in them all day, but do you really think Miami's going to want to give up the rival, like FSU rivalry, and just, I mean, like it feels like much of the ACC is going to eventually fold into the SEC, and just one, regionally it makes sense with Miami being there, but two, it's just the rivalries with the ACC. You have Virginia Tech, you have FSU, you got even Florida that's there.
Yeah, I don't know if all those teams are going to go into the same conference though, because I get what you're saying. First of all, I think Virginia Tech's going to be on the outside looking in. I think they're going to end up in like whatever the new Big 12 will be called.
True.
Because they're going to get into the same conference that, West Virginia's in, right? What if Florida State ends up in the SEC, as they've evidently already been trying to groom them to come in, and Miami is left out? Would you think Miami would prefer the Big 10 or go the route of like a Big 12?
I mean, the
Big 12 could be very interesting, to be honest.
I was about to say, I mean, it's really like a pick your poison. I mean, the Big 10, you're going to have the more defensive minded teams, but the Big 12, you're going to have those air raid, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech type teams, which I think Miami would have a better chance of competing with. So, I mean, I think from a football standpoint, I think it'd be better for Miami to go out to the Big 12. But I mean, just as a fan and just from like a money perspective, I think the SEC is where Miami would ultimately want to end up.
It would be interesting if Miami, let's say if the Big 12 goes, well, we're not going to be able to compete with the big dogs, the Alabamas, the Notre Dames. But what if we go in and try to get a bunch of different regions and they grab Miami, they grab Virginia Tech. They already have West Virginia, so they're kind of going East Coast. What if they go up and grab Boston College and then they go? I did find it funny as hell. The Pac-12 media days were this week, and I guess the Big 12 said something about they're open for business, implying that they were going to start trying to add teams. And the Pac-12 clapped back. The Pac-12 commissioner said, well, we haven't started shopping yet, but we will let them know when we want to start buying them up.
That's
it looks
ridiculous.
like the draft is starting to build. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. Let me see. It is in. And make sure I turn the damn draft sounds off so it isn't. Mute everybody. I mean, deafen everybody. Okay, so where's everyone got? Man, I'm always at the bottom. Bobby, is that you at number 10?
Yep.
I'm just now loading in. It looks like it. Yes.
So Trosh has got the number 4 team, and I've got number 9. You've got number 10. So we're going to be going back to back to back. That'll be hard. I like how the other one's set up where we were kind of split up, but we'll there's something I didn't notice before. These best balls for Yahoo, they're 10-team leagues. It just didn't register with me.
Yeah. Underdog's got the 12. Yeah. I didn't realize that either. I was wondering why there were so many players that were still left at the end of the draft.
Right. So not only do you not have that extra round, but you also have one or 2 less teams.
Yeah.
So that's equating into what an extra 25 players or so that are out there.
34 players.
Is it 34? Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. These are 2.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's a big. I'm in several different types of best balls. I'm in 10 and 12s, and I've even got into some 6s. I can't bring myself to get into a 3-man one.
I think I'm in 1 on Underdog.
Trish, we talked about this before, but I wish they were doing some $5 long drafts with 10-man leagues.
What, on Underdog?
Or even 12-man leagues, but all their $5 ones are you got to draft right then.
Well, actually, on Monday they're releasing they're opening up their next puppy contest, which is their big their $5 one, like the main one. So, I mean, there's going to be lots of $5 slow drafts in that on Monday.
Well, that'll be better. I've done some pick'ems, which is a lot of fun on Underdog. We're getting set here. Since we got these 4 minutes before the draft starts, let's go ahead and get our top 15 in. What we did is we all sent, or they all sent me their top 15, and I added it together, got the points together. No big shock here that Jonathan Taylor was by far number 1. It wasn't even close. The number 2 shocked me, and it was mainly because Bobby has run CMC way down at the bottom of his list. Where did you have him at? Around 9 or 10?
I have a 9, and I will stand on that. He's played 10 games in the last 2 years, and I'm not willing to risk a high pick on him.
No,
I see that he can play.
I get your theory behind it. So Eckler jumped to the number 2 spot in our cumulative one, and that puts CMC at number 3. Now, CMC barely beat out Dalvin Cook, but he beat out Dalvin Cook by 1 point. So it's Dalvin Cook 4, Najee Harris 5, Joe Mixon 6, and Derrick Henry 7. Aaron Jones 8, Swift 9, Kamara 10, and then Connor 11, Jacobs at 12, 13 is Saquon Barkley, Chubb at 14, and then Javonte Williams at 15, which some of them were a little shocking to me. What's the biggest one that jumps out at you, Steven?
Jacobs in the top 15. He was completely off my top 15, but I mean, he must have been in the top 10 for a lot of people. That really surprises me.
He made
Yeah,
it. He made it. He barely made it into mine and Bobby's, and then a couple of other folks actually had him towards the top 10. There were some omissions that I just wonder if guys just forgot about and left him off their list that kind of changed these numbers. Javonte Williams being at 14 is kind of a head scratcher, or 15 is kind of a head scratcher to me.
I left him off my list because, we got Melvin Gordon back. We saw last year it was a 50-50 split in that backfield. Everything we've been seeing so far out of camp and just with that offense is it's going to be a 50-50 split again. They're going to want to keep Javonte healthy because, I don't see Melvin Gordon being here another year after this. So I really don't see them wanting to run him into the ground while they just signed a perfectly healthy veteran back.
What about Chubb being so far down the list at number 14?
Yeah, he was at 15 in mine. If we're talking real life running backs, easily top 5, like no question, no doubt about it. But fantasy, you have Deshaun Watson coming in if he even plays that first part of the season. So it's going to be a Jacoby Brissett led offense. You still have Kareem Hunt there, who takes a big bulk of the passing work, and Chubb just doesn't catch passes at all. If I'm drafting a running back in the top 10, I want to have at least some kind of receiving upside.
Bobby, what say you on those?
Yeah, I'm with Trosh on the Jacob thing because although I had him in my top 15, it means, because most people had him lower on their list, that some people would have to have him pretty high. So I'm surprised people ranked him as high as they did. But I do like Jacobs next year. I think he'll have a solid year.
You almost wonder if Jacobs is he's just not going to get the touches because they've got so many damn weapons. You add Adams, you've got Waller, who should be back healthy. They've had a couple other pieces as far as the receiving core goes. And then, of course, Drake is still an option in that backfield. There's been a lot of talk about him getting a lot more touches this year in the passing game. Problem is, we never know any of this crap until we see it in week 1.
Yep.
Football is so hard to try to predict. It's so much easier to predict, your baseball, your basketball, et cetera, et cetera. Man, when it comes to fantasy football, because a lot of these guys, when they get old quick.
Mm-hmm.
And so the draft is beginning. No shock there that it went to Taylor. And then the next guy's coming up and he's auto drafted. Why the hell getting one of these in auto draft? What the hell are you doing?
I'll get it.
All right. So I'm going to.
So Taylor, Cup, and McCaffrey are gone. Trosh, where are you going?
I'm between Henry or Eckler. I've got a couple shares of Henry. I don't have any Eckler yet. Haven't drafted this high, so I'm going to snatch him up right now.
I like his receiving upside. Catches a lot of passes.
Oh, yeah.
He'll get in the end zone almost every game.
Oh, yeah. And you wouldn't think of it for like the prototype running back he is, but he is heavily involved in the red zone. I think one of the most involved in the red zone in the league.
So it goes Henry, Chase, and Cook after that. So the guy in front of me is trying to figure out Jefferson, Harris, Diggs, and Mixon are the 4 that are in front. So goes to me with I'm going to take the best running back available, Najee Harris, and hope that he doesn't see a crowded line of scrimmage. And that goes Bobby's got back-to-back, and then it'll be my turn again.
I'm going to go receiver running back here. I got my choice between Diggs and Adams. I'm going to go with Diggs. I love the offense he's in this year. And then I'm going to go Mixon. I think he's the best running back available right now.
Yeah, Mixon's a steal there.
Mm-hmm.
So then that comes back to me, and it really comes down to me if I'm going to take another running back or do I want with best ball with you need 3 receivers. I think I'm going to take the best receiver in football in Davante Adams. I do worry about what the new geography is going to mean. I'm going to try to I'm going to try to reshare this a different way to see if we can expand that screen just a little bit. 1 second. right.
So you got 2 picks to llama up. I'm not sure what I mean. If CD Lamb is still there, do I even think twice about it?
That would be a steal right there. 17.
CD Lamb is still there.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean that's just an auto click for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean I've got plenty shares, but I mean with Amari Cooper gone, he is one of the few receivers in the league who has like overall wide receiver 1 in his range of outcomes. I think there's only 5 or 6 receivers that you could say that about.
Okay, yeah, that looks a lot better now that it's caught up on the stream. I can see it. You can actually see everyone's picks and whatnot much clearer. Okay. So it's coming back around and it'll be Trish's pick in a second. See what we can see if I put teams on. Yeah, you can see everyone's teams too, so that's good.
Saquon just went.
I feel like he's going too early, but I know a lot of people are thinking about what he did a few years ago, but man, he was god awful last year.
Yeah, but he's another year removed from that injury. I mean, we've seen the upside. We know what kind of player he is. I mean, I give you
like the fact that Daboll coming in, that's got to help. He didn't run the ball a whole hell of a lot in Buffalo, so I don't know.
I didn't have a Saquon in Buffalo either.
So this is
Singletary.
Trish's team. He just drafted Barkley as we were talking about him.
No, I didn't. I got Pittman.
Oh. Well, what the hell?
I like Pittman, by the way. I think he's going to have a nice year.
What team did I pick here? Okay. I don't know who I picked. You've got Lamb, Pittman, and Eckler. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like the 3. I mean, I'm not super comfortable waiting on running back, but I mean, like remember, like the top 2 receivers I just got are that gives me a safe floor every single week.
Okay, so it comes back to me, and
your top 2 picks probably just went.
I guess I'm gonna grab T. Higgins.
Kamara got sniped there. Let's see. I got a decision to make. I'm gonna take a running back here for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of a risk on a rookie here, but I like his talent. I think he'll have a nice year. I think he'll be worth that pick. And then I'm going to be a bit of a homer. I'm going to do it. I'm going to grab potentially a top 2 tight end in fantasy this year. I think he'll have a nice year. Kyle Pitts. I think Mariota's going to target him quite a bit.
So I need to go ahead and grab another running back because if not, by the time it gets back to me, it's going to be garbage left out there. It really comes down to me between Connors and Montgomery. And I'm just going to go with the guy who's going to be on the better offense, James Conner.
You weren't considering Zeke there?
No, not even at gunpoint.
Hey, do you? Like that just means more shares of Zeke on my team.
That's fine by me. Zeke is, I don't know. He's one of my guys that I'm steering clear of this year.
And I mean, if we're talking about his, last 2 years ADP, yeah, I'm out. But I mean, I'm about to get him possibly in the 4th or 5th round. I mean, to me, that just screams value, and he just went. So
bullet dodged.
Let's see. I think I can wait on receiver here, so I'm going to get another running back. I'm not a fan of Jacobs. Elijah Mitchell scares the crap out of me, and so does Antonio Gibson, although I love him as a player. So I'm going ETN. He has gotten rave reviews out of camp so far. There's James Robinson's not there. I think he's got a lot of potential to really just take a hold of that offense.
Oh, God, I don't know what he was saying, but they just showed Tyreek Hill grabbing the microphone at practice and saying something to the crowd. He was doing this number, pointing it. Like, here we go. He's his own hype man.
He's Tua's hype man for sure.
We got Cheetah and the Penguin this year. It's going to be interesting.
We'll see how long that lasts. We get 4 or 5 weeks into the season, and Tua is finding Jalen Waddle every damn game. He's going to be raising hell. He shouldn't, because he got paid no matter what. So who cares? But
yeah, I don't think it's going to be. I think there's a real chance for those two to really make some waves in the league. So I mean, like, just as an offense or as a defense, how do you prepare to stop two guys as fast as them?
And you just do what most teams are going to do, which is put pressure on Tua, and he's going to have to beat you.
I mean, all that says to me is he gets to dump it off to Hill, Waddle, Mostert, and Edmonds, and then just let them do the work. I am perfectly fine with that.
If he can do it. He has not shown that he deals with pressure very well, so we'll see what happens. But
ooh. All right, so I'm going to go right here with my 5th round pick, fill out my receivers, Allen Robinson. I think he's got the potential to make a massive comeback this year. What do y'all think?
He should. He's in a much better position. That's for sure.
Who is that?
I mean, do you see him like kind of filling in the Robert Woods role, or like fully taking a big role in this offense?
Well,
I think it'll be more the Robert Woods role.
Like taking targets away from Cooper Kupp.
Unless Cooper Kupp gets in a plane crash, I don't see how he's going to be the big role. But even what Robert Woods did from time to time and week to week, you'll take it, especially in a best ball league.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about, do I start him this week? All that kind of stuff. You just let him go. It is coming to me, and I'm either going to go receiver or running back here again. It's too early for me to go. And the only tight end I might think about going this early just went off the board at Waller, and I'm still not sold on him. So I think I'm going to go get some depth at running back / flex and draft Dobbins, and that gives me Harris, Connor, and Dobbins along with Adams and Higgins. And it'll really come down to what I can do as far as I think I'll be looking for depth at this point. I still need a third wide receiver, but you don't have to have wide receiver at this point.
No, I mean, in a general best ball strategy, it's always better to stack up on the higher, like get your running backs as receivers are going to be more likely to randomly pop off week to week.
I had running back and tight end filled out there, so I doubled up on a receiver.
Nice.
Yeah, you really screwed me right there.
I was thinking about taking Cooks, but then I was like, DK was too tempting.
Miles Sanders and Gabe Davis are there.
Yes,
right for the taking.
Grab Cooks. Cook's more likely to have those big weeks. If you don't grab him, you're going to end up with. If you don't watch it, you'll end up with Rashad Bateman.
Let's see. So what?
And if you draft Rashad Bateman, then you have to turn around and draft Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually my plan, was to my plan for these next 2 picks was to grab Lamar and then go grab Bateman, but Lamar was taken, so I went Mahomes.
And if I'm going to get Lamar Jackson, man, I really want to have Andrews.
Yeah.
And that's really difficult. I'm in one long draft that I'm trying to pull that off, but I don't even know if it's going to happen because it's going up and down on me. And I grabbed Andrews, but if someone grabs Jackson, which is a possibility, there's 3 or 4 quarterbacks on the board, but I got to wait 16 picks. If someone grabs Jackson, it totally screws up my strategy.
Yeah, no, think Jackson is one of those quarterbacks though that you really don't have to stack him in best ball just because he offers so much upside with his legs, and he's not
No, but what I'm saying is that if I'm going to draft Andrews, I want Jackson.
True. Okay.
So if I draft Andrews and someone else drafts Jackson, I'm like, crap. I might as well have just let the tight ends go for a minute.
Like Juju just went out of after I drafted Patrick Mahomes. Oh, now I know how you feel.
I'm still not 100% sold that Juju's necessarily going to be his number one receiver because we just don't know.
Oh, yeah, no.
Flyer on Sky Moore or something.
No, I mean, no.
Sky Moore has a lot of potential.
Oh yeah, no, I'm getting at least one of MVS, and Sky Moore in every draft. Even I'm throwing a lot of Mecole Hardman in as a late round flyer. All right, I'm gonna go. I need a little bit of running back depth here. Oh, it pains me, but I'm gonna go Melvin Gordon. Like I'm not in love with Miles Sanders. Is one of those. He could be fantastic, or he could absolutely break your team, and it just scares
me. Burned, man.
It's been more burned than good, but the talent's there. I mean, if this offense takes off, I mean, we don't know. I'm not saying he's like a top 10 running back, but he definitely can work his way into the RB2 territory.
All right, so it's my turn to draft, and I guess I better go get a quarterback. So all the quarterbacks that are out there, Adams, I'll go ahead and grab Jalen Hurts.
Could have got Burrow with T. Higgins.
Burrow was off the board. He just went. I was looking at both Kyler and Burrow there, and they went back to back.
He went way too high, man. There's no way.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the best running back over the last 5 weeks of last season, Rashad Penny, who's putting up monster numbers. I think he'll be a good flex play. And then, you know what? I'll go ahead and grab Brady. Let me get my quarterback locked in.
So it comes back to me, and I'm going to get my tight end. Go there. I might as well team him up with Hurts. Not loving it, but it is what it is.
Yeah. CEH just went off the board.
I'm hoping in another offseason, maybe him and Hurts can actually find each other.
Yeah. Man, I'm just looking at the available everybody, and it is just ugly. Like, I don't want it.
Don't you have Zeke, right? Or do you not?
No, I don't.
Oh, I was about to say, because Pollard's there, you could handcuff him.
No, and I mean, even in a best ball scenario, I'm not handcuffing. I'm just choosing one of the other.
I would in that situation, because Pollard's going to steal some touches from him.
Yeah, but I mean, what's the upside there? Like the real upside.
Zeke gets hurt, and you still have Pollard.
But then I wasted 2 spots. I have 1 spot that I just basically wasted on Zeke.
Yeah, but you have you could draft 2 different running backs and have them both go down, or just be crap. You could go out.
No, in a redraft, 100% time.
Miles Sanders and Devin Singletary, and they both be crap.
Yeah, or just you waste you draft Tony Pollard and Zeke doesn't get hurt, and he doesn't really do anything, and you just you wasted a mid-round pick.
Everything points to the fact that Zeke's going to get less and less touches this year.
I still think he's going to get the goal line back, and that's
but Pollard hits the big chunks of yardage. And you're talking about a guy that could get heavily involved in games where they're behind.
No, I know.
In theory, I love what you're saying about Zeke. I just haven't seen it play out the last couple of years that way.
No, and this is probably the last year I'm going to be in on Zeke, but the price fell to it's just for me the price. If he was if he was a 3rd round or even a 2nd round pick, no. Not even considering it. But if I'm getting in the 4th and 5th round, I'm willing to take that flyer as my RB3.
Oh, 5th round for sure. Yeah. Well, what does the rest of my roster look like, though? That's the only problem.
All right, let's see. Now I have to actually make a pick. So I just went Adam Thielen. I'm going to reach a little here, just trying to shoot for the upside. Michael Thomas is still available, so I'm going to snag him.
He's finally practicing. It's only been 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that injury worried me, but he's back at practice, and last time he was healthy, he was at
What if
least
he
a
comes
top
back
tier
as a
receiver.
fat ass? He comes out there, it's just like, dude, what happened to you? I don't know. I've been eating ho-hos and ding dongs. It's pandemic.
I think this will be a nice year for him. Maybe not as good as when he was healthy, but I think he'll be definitely worth that.
Well, yeah. So, like you have, they drafted Chris Olave this year. They signed Jarvis Landry. He's not going to eat into too many targets, but he's going to be a reliable option over the middle. They have a lot more talent on that offense than the last time he played. So, yeah, it really is going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out in New Orleans.
I took
Both of the guys
Devontae Smith because I've painted myself into the Philadelphia Eagle corner.
Yeah.
Both of my guys got stolen there. I was looking at either Godwin or Michael Thomas. Both guys bouncing back from injuries. But let's see. In case Kenneth Walker has a big week instead of Penny, in case he gets more of the reps, or if Penny goes down, then I'll have his backup. I'll take a very talented Kenneth Walker there. Oh, and then I'm back up. That's right. I'll go ahead and take Elijah Moore. He had a good rookie year. Started off a bit slow, but he really turned around. He put up some good numbers, so I think he'll be good, and he'll be in a great offense this year. I think. I like Zach Wilson to improve next year, and I think he'll be throwing to some great receivers.
I am going to get another receiver because they are becoming few and far between. Give me Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, he's got upside for days. Just depends if the quarterback can actually do anything.
Man, it's really shocking that Drew Lock's not getting the Lions' share of the snaps so far.
Yeah,
that report, but Smith is getting him.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, and Dak just went. That's what I was looking at there. So I'm going to.
He really lasted, didn't he?
Yeah, 95. So I'm going to. I'm going to go for an upside running back, James Cook. I think Zach Moss kind of proved he isn't the option there. Devin Singletary, he's good, but I don't think he's good enough to truly be the 3-down back there. Cook's going to get plenty of work running this offense. And plus, we saw what his brother Dalvin can do. If he's even half as good, watch out.
It's coming back to me. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's doing the turn. Going back to Trosh. So let's look at Trosh's team then. So you got Mahomes, Lamb, Pittman, Robinson, Eckler, and Etienne. Gordon is your third running back, and then you got Cooks as a fourth running back, Thielen and Michael Thomas. I like your receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my running backs, I'm
not doing well.
No, it's got potential. I'm just
go ahead and add to it, man. Go get Ronald Jones' sorry ass.
Are you paying me? Like how much? Like how much are you Venmoing me?
I'm gonna miss that argument. All last year, Tones and I argued about whether Ronald Jones is worth a damn.
And now we know the answer.
I knew the answer. He just wouldn't listen. Because if the guy's wearing Buccaneers jersey, he's not listening, man. He's sugar plums.
And I need to get a tight end, but man, it is just so barren. Like I feel like I should just be going after some of the upside players at receiver, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. I think it's gonna be reaching a little bit, but I'm getting that some one part of that stack MVS.
I like that.
Now I just got to work in someone else.
Are we buying the Alan Lazard hype?
I don't know where he'll.
Because I feel like
that's
a
a
little
tough
tongue
call.
in cheek by Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, when Lazard was first on the team, like Rodgers was kind of like angling for him to get on the field, and he broke out. I think it was either a Sunday night or a Monday night game. I mean, I like he's going to have a role in this offense. My question is, do you think Rodgers is going to zero in on one receiver like he did with Devontae Adams and even like James Jones in the past, or is it going to be kind of spreading the ball and just no one's going to take over that offense?
By the way, I grabbed
Derek Carr.
So I can team him up with Devontae Adams.
Nice.
I've got my.
I'll go ahead and be the one to take Rojo.
Team up.
I'll be the one to take Rojo here. I don't like Clyde Edwards-Helaire at all. I don't think he's very good. I think Jones will get a lot of touches in the offense. I mean, it's a pretty low risk pick. It's like round 11, so if it doesn't pan out, I'm not too worried about it. And then I don't know why Aaron Rodgers is lower than Lance. That's puzzling. But I'm gonna go ahead and get a quality backup quarterback. Go ahead and I guess Brady has a down week, then I got Rodgers on the bench, so I'll be fine.
That's my pick.
I don't have to worry about
and man, slim pickings. I'm gonna go ahead and screw it. I'm gonna take another quarterback. I'll give me some Trey Lance. It gives me 3 quarterbacks, 2 who are running quarterbacks and may be able to get in the end zone a little bit.
I legitimately thought we were going to go Madison there.
Alexander Madison?
Yeah, and he seems like your type of player. Wait for Dalvin to get hurt, and you got a top 5 back.
I don't have Cook though, and he didn't perform very well last year when Dalvin was out of the lineup. I'm not saying I wouldn't draft him, but I feel like I have to have Cook if I'm going to draft him.
Fair.
We all know there's going to be that one sneaky running back that 3-4 weeks in the season, everyone's going to wish they had, but it'll already be best ball, so you're not going to be able to get him. Who's your best guess that guy is? Who's not going like top 50 right now that just comes out of nowhere? Because there's always that one guy.
At running back or anywhere?
Running back, because receivers are a little more common.
Let's see. Where did I draft Penny at? Because I think he could be that guy.
No, he's definitely top 50 running back.
Oh, Penny?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant top 50 pick at all.
No. Top 40. We'll say top 40 running backs off the board. Is there nothing that you say, hey, look out for him? It's usually like a rookie, right?
That was one of the ones I was going to mention. I've got 3 in mind. Like, I don't have a strong pull either way, but I like Kenneth Gainwell, Marlon Mack. I think that backfield's wide open, and we know he has talent. And then the rookie you mentioned, Tyrion Davis-Price out of San Fran. When we've seen that, like how Shanahan runs that running back room, there's no guarantees Mitchell is going to be the starter or even get the share of touches.
Well, we know Mitchell won't stay healthy either. I don't think Walker will. I think Penny's going to be the running back one. I think Walker will get some touches, but not enough to be like a starter.
The problem with Penny, though, man, his entire career he has stayed hurt. So this is finally his team. It'll be interesting to see if he can tote the note. So it is Trosh. Who did you just grab?
Devontae Parker. No, Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
I like that.
Wow, I'm looking at this ADP, and man, Yahoo's ADP is so drastically different than Underdog. It's insane. Actually, funny note about underdog ADP. Tony Romo has a higher ADP than Sam Darnold right now.
So Birch just went off the board, and that's who I was kind of circling, trying to find someone to man, it is rough pickings right now. I honestly would rather take a flyer on someone than someone who is you know what? I'll take Gus Edwards. He might get some goal line carries.
Yeah.
Again. Oh, and I do have Dobbins. I forgot I had Dobbins, so that gives me insurance.
Speak of Kenneth Gainwell, I'm gonna go ahead and pick him. I think I might be wrong, but maybe I saw that he was getting running back 1 touches in training camp over Miles Sanders, which didn't shock me because I don't think Sanders is terribly good. But I like that. It's a little risk there. I'm going down the list now. I'll pick Devontae Parker because there's just no clear wide receiver 1 in that offense in New England. So I think he put up some decent numbers.
So it's back to me, and looking at high upside, I'm going to take a flyer on Sky Moore.
Oh, you stole my next pick.
And he works out well with my bye weeks too. I'm looking at the fact that I don't have a receiver with a number 8 bye week, which is key. Because you get to this point, you want to say, man, I know I can't control injuries, but I can control, not having 5 guys with the 14th bye week.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually kind of funny you picked him. Sky Moore was the receiver I was talking about when I said the ADPs are so different. He was down at like 202 on here, and like Miko Hardman, I think is let's see what's Hardman at. Just saw him. He just go? So I just saw him on the screen.
Well, you kind of have to look at the rank and expert rank, because if you look at the rank, so like expert rank right now is Darrell Henderson at 108, but he's 224 on rank, meaning they rank him via the best ball.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just so low. I mean, like, I'm just saying it's such a big discrepancy considering it's like massively flipped to where Sky Moore is like ranked way higher than Hardman on the other site. Three picks left. Man, this draft kind of flew.
Mm-hmm.
So quarterbacks, are you guys sticking with 2 quarterbacks, or are you going to go trying to get 3?
I've got 3 in this one. I do 2 in a lot of them.
I got 2 good quarterbacks. I don't think I need a third. I'm happy with mine.
Yeah, like I have Mahomes and Winston. I mean, I should be good there, but I'm like, I'm debating it.
What do you have available left at quarterback? I mean, it wouldn't be bad to take a flyer on Deshaun Watson.
No, I wouldn't.
It keeps going longer and longer. I'm starting to think that it's not going to be as long as everyone thought it was going to be. In other words, it's not going to be for the season.
Yeah.
Who's that?
It is me.
Watson. Oh, Watson. Yeah, I don't think it will be.
Yeah, like I had to go Rashad White there. I mean, like there are like I was just kind of going through. I wanted another Chiefs receiver, but I couldn't find any. And I pulled it up, and that was the running back that stuck out to me. So I mean, in that range, you got Darrell Henderson, Jamal Williams, J.D. McKissick, Tyler Algier. Isaiah Spiller is actually not a bad option. I didn't see that. I probably would have gone him over White, but.
So Mac finally came off the board.
Yeah. What are you thinking with these next 2 picks?
I've got mine's coming up here in a second. I'm probably going to grab Jameson Williams, assuming he's there. If he's not, maybe some Josh Palmer, maybe.
I don't know what I'm looking at here. Hoping he makes it past these next 2.
It's sphincter over here is taking forever. There we go. Who do you end up taking? Deshaun Watson after all that. I'm going to go ahead and grab Jameson Williams here.
That'll leave me Michael Gallup. I think he'll probably miss the first couple weeks, but when he gets back, he's the clear-cut wide receiver 2 in that offense.
Hands down.
Let's see. I'm looking for another receiver here. Go up. Trying to find my guy. There we go. I think one of the best receivers in this last draft, George Pickens. I really like him. I think he's gonna have a nice year. I'm not too high on Kenny Pickett, but I think George Pickens is a great receiver.
Actually, Claypool just injured his shoulder yesterday, so that's going to possibly open up some run for Pickens.
So I'm gonna get my backup tight end, David Njoku. I mean, they just paid the guy. They ought to. Hopefully, they start using him.
Yeah,
hope so.
And if Deshaun does come in, we'll say even 8 games in, that's around the time of Godaire's bye week. Hopefully, even if he misses the whole year, man, Brissett can't throw the ball far down the field. He's gonna be looking for Njoku left and right.
Yeah.
It's going to be handed off to Chubb and tight end bubble screen on 3. Let's go.
We're stuck on the auto draft.
You think Brissett will get them enough wins to allow them to potentially be in playoff contention when Watson comes back?
I mean, it really depends on how long of a damn. I mean, if he gets 8 games, if Brissett can keep their head above water, keep them, we'll say 3 and 5.
Mm-hmm. That could be enough.
I still wonder what he's going to look like, though. We have not seen this man play football in over 2 years. But by the time he hits the field again,
there's a lot of distractions as well.
Speaking of a guy who hasn't played much recently, I think this may be the best value of this draft. Julio Jones in the 16th round. If we don't have, if we're missing Godwin early on, in the choices between Julio Jones and Russell Gage to fill that slot, who do you think the Bucs are going to choose?
I'd guess Julio.
I mean, they'd be stupid not to.
Yeah. Yeah. The only question is if he can stay healthy this year. I'm hoping he can because I love Julio.
I think everything I've seen is they're going to kind of throw him into the Gronk role, not necessarily tight end, but just kind of be on a snap count and be in more like in the red zone and just in those more important situations like red zone, third downs, those types of plays.
Gotcha.
But I mean, if that's the case, that is just 10 touchdowns waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, final round. What are you guys thinking?
I got to get my backup tight end here, and I have a
Same
couple guys
here.
I'm looking at.
So who are you taking, just so I know who to pick?
I'm taking Evan Ingram. That's what I'm picking.
Well, yeah, even I'm not that dumb.
I'd hope not. I think he had a pass that he dropped and it went off his hands and got picked off in training camp.
That does not surprise me one bit.
Not at all.
And my pick, I was going to Gerald Everett, so that kind of sucks a little bit. But I'm going to roll with it. Yeah, I'm going to roll with Austin Hooper.
It's a good pick.
We've talked about him plenty already on this show. That Tannehill and that Tennessee offense loves the tight end position. No Jonnu there anymore, obviously from last year, but even Ferguson's gone, and enter Austin Hooper in a guaranteed role.
I'm going to have to get another running back. I don't have a lot of depth at running back. That's the one thing that's going to hurt me. I've only got 4 running backs. So I got to get a 5th one.
There's some out there.
I've got Harris and Connor. Those would be my mainstays, and the Dobbins and Edwards. But then I need that 5th running back.
Got Isaiah Spiller sitting right at the top.
I'm looking at either Spiller or Khalil Herbert, one or the other.
Ooh, yeah, Herbert's a good pick too. He balled out last year when Montgomery got hurt.
Montgomery went down, yeah.
I think that's.
I like him in Dynasty a lot.
Yeah.
But if Herbert does get picked, then oh, it's my turn. Okay, so I am going to take Khalil Herbert.
Mr. Irrelevant, I'll take Hayden Hurst. I think he'll be the main tight end in that offense. And I would have gone with Logan Thomas probably, but Pitts is on a week 14 bye, so I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
That'll round out my team.
So this is my team. Hurts, Devontae T, and Brandon Cooks at wide receiver, Najee and Connor, and then Goder, Dobbins. They got Dobbins in my flex, but I'd be willing to bet 9 times out of 10, my flex ends up being a receiver.
Yeah.
I like my depth in Devontae Smith, a couple with Hurts, and then of course you got Tyler Lockett, Sky Moore, Jamison Williams for later in the year. Might have been a little goofy grabbing 3 quarterbacks, but I'm going off the potential that Trey Lance has, and there's mine.
Yeah, you choose stacks elsewhere, so
yeah,
good upside pick.
That's the only thing that I do like about it is the 2 upsides. This is Trosh's team. What do you see, Steven?
So I got Mahomes, Lamb, Pittman, and Allen Robinson at receiver, Eckler, Etienne at running back, Freiermuth and Austin Hooper, my 2 tight ends. My backup quarterback is Jameis Winston. I stacked him with Michael Thomas, hoping that pays off big time. Then the rest of my bench is Melvin Gordon, Adam Thielen, James Cook, MVS, stacked him with Mahomes, Garrett Wilson, Rashad White, Julio, and Julio. I'm pretty happy with this team.
For my team, I'll go ahead and start off top quarterback. I got Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. I think that'll be plenty for quarterback. And then wide receiver, I got Stephon Diggs, Marquise Brown, and DK Metcalf starting. I think that's a solid trio. I think they'll put up good numbers. My 2 running backs are Mixon and Breece Hall. I like Breece Hall. I'm just hoping he can put up good numbers this year, make it worth the pick I got him at. Then my tight end is Kyle Pitts, of course. I think he's going to at least be a top 3 tight end in fantasy this year. My flex is Rashad Penny, but that could be anybody on my bench, really. It just depends on how it shakes out. And then going down the bench, we got Kenneth Walker, a good backup running back in Seattle, Elijah Moore, Ronald Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Kenneth Gainwell, Devontae Parker, Michael Gallup, who I really like the value I got with him. I think he's going to be worth it. He'll probably miss a few weeks, but it could be all right. George Pickens and Hayden Hurst to round out my team.
I'm in a what do you call it? Best ball draft right now on Underdog, Steven.
Yeah.
And man, I was hoping this would fall this way because I kind of gambled and the way I did my draft. But long story short, the last pick that I made was Hunter Renfrow, and I could have grabbed the quarterback instead, but I went ahead and grabbed him, and it ended up coming all the way up and all the way down, falling to me. This is my team so far. I really like this team. So I've got Dak Prescott now, and and I just got him with the 83rd pick. But Chubb and Akers and Dobbins is my backfield. Okay. My receiving core is Kupp, Lamb, Waddle, Renfro, and then Schultz is my tight end. So I've got 2 guys to couple with Dak Prescott now.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
I was doing the damn thing. Man, I came so close to just biting the bullet and drafting Dak a little while ago. Anyways, ended up rolling the dice. It went up and came down, and luckily he was still there. He was the next on the board. It was him and Trey Lance at quarterback. And I'd have been screwed if I would have gotten like Lance or Brady or whatnot, because I went so far into the Dallas Cowboy receiving core on this.
Yeah. Now, speaking of underdog, that draft that we're in, you absolutely sniped me and took Derek Carr out of nowhere. I was so mad. I have Devontae Adams in that one.
I have Carr.
You picked Carr as your main quarterback and got no stack. Oh yeah, Carr.
I got Renfro. That's why I did it. I ain't putting all my eggs in the freaking Jameis Winston basket. Because I do have Michael Thomas there.
Burrow was gone.
Yeah, but because Brian drafted Burrow like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, Brian's in this one.
Number 3 overall or whatever the hell he did. I was like,
5th round.
I was like, where's Burrow? And he drafted him. Like, oh God.
Burrow ahead of Kyler, Russell Wilson, and Jalen Hurts.
I got the number 1 pick in this one, Bobby. So I got Taylor, and then of course it goes up and comes down. You got to wait forever, and that's when I got I drafted Kamara and Higgins back to back.
I like Kamara in round 2.
Yeah, he's kind of a risk though, because he's probably going to miss about 6 games.
I get that the suspension concern, but I mean, if you can get a top 10 running back at that pick, I'd say it's fair.
Best ball, I'm okay with it, but in a regular draft, really makes me nervous because you're going to absorb 6 losses possibly, or at least 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to really load up at running back depth wise if you're going to take the risk on Kamara.
I felt better about the fact that, first of all, I had Jonathan Taylor, but then when it came back down to me, I actually had a chance to grab J.K. Dobbins, which gives me some depth. And I am getting your boy Rashad Penny.
There you go.
When did I get him? Was that my last pick? I don't even remember drafting him.
I really like Penny in fantasy this year. I mean, when he took over that running back 1 role, he that last 5 weeks of the season, he was running back 1. Like, if you stretch out that 5-game span over the course of the season, he would have had like 2,200 yards or something ridiculous like that, which is unrealistic, but it shows you how good he was in that last 5 games.
No, I mean, he was that good, but I mean, I think I also remember a specific 4-game stretch where Jay Ajayi had like 200 yards in 3 of those games. So, I mean, the small sample sizes can be like, Penny has all the talent, but those small sample sizes can be misleading, and especially with a guy as injury prone as Penny. I love the player. I hope he stays healthy. Man, it is scary.
He needs to be healthy for those numbers to be good next year. I'm banking on.
Join another $3 12-man draft today, by the way, Steven.
Okay, yeah, like let me know. Like, I'm trying to save all my drafts for Monday. I'm gonna be like in 25, 30 of them.
Why so many?
So they're releasing that new contest, the $5 one. It's 150 entry max, so I'm gonna throw a bunch in there.
Hey, I must have won something. My bank went up a little bit. I don't know what the hell I won, but yay me.
The only thing I'm not liking about Underdog with the pick'ems is that you have to hit every single leg of them for it to hit. Like there's one site that's called Prize Picks. It's basically the same format as the pick'em, but you don't have to hit every single pick to pay out.
Yeah, they had that set. I also don't like the fact that you can't use the same team, so you can't do like a 2-team pick'em. Because I'm like, well, dude, 9 times out of 10, I'm only watching 1 baseball game at a time. I don't want to have to flip back and forth and keep an eye on it. And I ain't gonna lie, a lot of times it's Braves related. I may not bet on a Brave to do well. I might say, man, that dude does not see that pitcher well. I'm gonna bet against it, but I'd rather be able to bet on the same team.
True.
That part sucks. What is your walk-off for the day, gentlemen? Steven first.
Hey, DraftKings right now is running a promotion. Any deposit of $5 or more, you get a free entry into the Week 1 Million Maker contest for NFL. So go in there, make your deposit. There's plenty of baseball games going on today. I got the Indy road course tomorrow for NASCAR. I'm really looking forward to that. Lots of things going on DraftKings right now.
And Bobby?
I'm going to go San Luis Tones. I'll go preparing for this. But UFC 277 tonight, you've got 2 great fights headlining it. You got Pena Nunes and then Marino and Cara France fighting tonight. There's a lot of other good fights below that too. The main card starts at about 10 Eastern time. It'll be a lot of good fights tonight. I'm going to see it with a friend. So I think if you have any interest in UFC, you need to tune into that.
My walk-off is ESPN is really struggling today, man. They got WNBA kicking off here at noon. Thankfully, baseball will be back on at 1 p.m. Eastern, so I'm looking forward to that. Braves don't play till 7 o'clock tonight, so I want to check out a couple of games. It's going to get blacked out, but I would really love to see this Cleveland-Tampa Bay game. But Steven, did you see that Bally's is offering now where you can purchase Bally's Sports as its own app without buying all the other crap, and you can watch like your Marlins?
No, but thank the Lord. I was literally like debating
One of
with
like
myself.
5 states that they're going to experiment, and we're one of them.
I was literally like debating last night. Do I really want to get DirecTV? I'm sick of not watching the Marlins, but this is great.
I think Bobby, I believe Tennessee's another one because the guy that sent it to me lives in Tennessee. So I believe Tennessee's another one if you have any interest in that. Doesn't interest me as much being a Braves fan, but it sucks when the Braves play the Marlins. I usually have to find some pirate website to be able to see them.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, great job. And we will see y'all next week. And next week we'll get into an actual mock draft of a season long and kind of flip the script a little bit. We're getting closer. Next Saturday, 9 a.m. to noon, and we'll be reacting to a football game, Jaguars Raiders Thursday night.
Oh yeah.
Sir. All right, you guys have a good one.
You too.
Goodbye, sweetheart. It's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. The Armchair Quarterbacks bring you Braves Country Baseball every Tuesday and Friday night, play-by-play with Mac McGee. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another cigarette, please get another.